Hey, bestie. Made into cigarettes. Overwatch 2 reveals a major gameplay update for Overwatch 2, shifting its standard player versus player experience from 6-player to 5-player teams. That sounds terrible. Wait, how do I pop out this chat? I don't even remember. Oh, that's right. Jesus Christ, I've forgotten. It's been so long. Here we go. What's up, fam jam? What's poppin'? How are we doing? You got sick yesterday and you're still sick. Uh-oh. Well, you better get yourself some vitamin C. Jensen. Oh, wrong chat. You were supposed to be messaging your sugar father. Liz has ice cream in the fridge tonight, but you don't want to be fat for tomorrow. Yeah, save the fat for later in life, for when the nuclear winter comes. Hey Carrie, what's up? Yeah, it's me. Yeah, just it's been beautiful out, you know? Beautiful weather. Very, very sunny. Enjoying time with family. You know the spiel. And yeah, my schedule's just, you know, I was still recording normal schedule, Monday, Wednesday, Friday for uploads, just kind of sometimes streams just aren't in the cards. Sometimes I kind of like, when I record on my own, I'm much more quick with it. Hey, Jem Adamson with the 2. And the first dono of the night says, doubt you remember me. It's been a while. Jem, you know, it's a cool name, but it doesn't ring a bell for some reason, but I'm happy you're here. How the real-time CC, what's that mean? Ophelli just quit her shitty job today. Well, congratulations, Ophelli. We're happy for you. Pradeepa. Say hello to Pradeepa. Hello, Allie. What's up? Shake what your mama gave you. Sha-sha-sha, sha-sha-sha. Go Leafs, go. Is there a hockey game going on? I guess it does happen during the NBA season around the same time, huh? I like the idea of hockey. I've just never given it a proper watch. Yeah, Liz, you should be fucking sorry. You're lucky I didn't ban you right then and there. A professional butter socker before YouTube. Yeah, every sock I saw instantly buttered. Closed captioning is working in real time. Oh, cool. What's my favorite color? I like blue-green, you know? Like sometimes I see people with blue eyes or green eyes and I'm just like, whoa, nice eyes. But I feel like, honestly, I think all eyes are nice to look at, but there's some that just kind of catch you. They catch you, and then you have to get real close in their face and stare at them. Oh, Herrera, sorry to hear about your bird. Do I watch the NBA? I don't know. I try to. Like yesterday I watched, well, I don't really try, let me be honest. But like I watched the highlights of the Lakers versus the Warriors. And man, I was just so fucking bored, even during like the highlights and stuff like that. I mean, it was cool. Like, I respect the athleticism necessary to compete and stuff like that. And I have fun when I play basketball, or I used to play more basketball when I was younger. I wouldn't mind like playing now, like pickup games, like maybe I can play with Adam Sandler or something like that. But I don't know. I just watch it and it's like Steph Curry just fucking like nails these like absolute like just automatic buckets from fucking, I mean, it's not even the 3-point zone, it's like the 4-point zone if they even have that. Like almost like half court shots. And they just go in so effortlessly, and I'm just like, you know, how do you even defend against stuff like that? What am I binge watching? Well, I watched through, I mean, this wasn't really a binge watch, but we watched, what the hell is it called? Love, Death, and Robots Season 2, which you can bang through that in like an hour. And, you know, it was good. I thought it was a good addition, second season, but it just goes by so quick. You're like, fuck, I want more. But I really like just like the little snippets of the world, you know what I mean? The worlds that they try to create. Like, you don't get the full picture, but the fact that you kind of get a glimpse into some like really unique ideas just briefly is fucking sweet. How many stories? I think we got 5 stories tonight. 5 Starbucks related stories. The time they spelled my name wrong on my cup. The time I spent $12 on a Mocha Loca Doca. Zach Anderson with the 2 says, hey you. Thanks, Zach. Thank you. And Sandra with the 5 says, I've been really going through it these past few days. Thank you, Joel, for you distracting me at least a bit. Hope you know these streams really help people. Thank you, Sandra. Yeah, sorry I've been absent, guys. I apologize, you know. I still, you know, I just want you guys to know that my first and foremost goal for the channel is to always stick to my schedule of Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And that's hard to keep up with, you know what I mean? Let alone kind of gathering myself to stream. And, you know, it might not seem that streaming is like too wildly complicated, I suppose. You know, just if you're going to record the stories, why not stream? But sometimes it's just time constraints, or, you know, like I said, I got to squeak it in when I can for recording. And, you know, sometimes that's literally like right before the video is due to come out, you know what I mean? Time Bandito with the $20 Reno says, awesome, looking forward to this. Thank you, Bandito. Good to see you, and thank you. Do I like pizza? You're damn right. Too much, honestly. I need to cut back. It's bikini weather, and I still need to get my Brazilian wax, so be prepared for that. The downfall of your mental health. It's okay. We'll lift you back up. The time you blew out the bathroom after a venti mocha frappers. You excited for Conjuring 3? You know, I don't really know. I remember Conjuring 2. I was in the theaters. It was a pretty funny experience. Like, I'm one of those people that make a lot of noise during scary movies. Because I'm like, oh shit. I just like, I don't know. I can't help it. I yell. I shouldn't yell, but I do. I yell during scary movies. I'm one of those people. And I do it in the theaters too. And it's embarrassing. But I can't help it because it's exciting to me to be scared. And so, yeah, I'm excited for Conjuring 3. Let's all go see it at the theater. Miss Molly with the 5 says, I'm here and I'm queer. Joel, my dear, how are you? I hope you're having a good night. Love you. Thank you, Molly. We are happy to have you. Good to see you as always. I'm glad you're doing well. You got the pizza. You got the butter sock. You're ready to rock. You like listening while doing the dishes. When I start getting scared, I start scrubbing faster. No, by the end of the video, my dishes be extra clean. Yeah, just like... Howdy, Ransom. If you haven't liked the vid yet, please do. Please do click that like button. I do believe it helps a little bit. Hey, Oxy, what's poppin'? There's the Hawk. There's everybody. What's it? Sampai? Lasagna or lasagna? I love lasagna. A whole family size. I dropped a whole family size lasagna on my new basketball sneaks. Bra's in the building. He's ready to jam. And he just wants his turkey stories. That's the only reason he's here. Every day he has that hope. Brian with the 5 says, hey Joel, do you believe in supplementing glutamine? Thanks. I've heard of those particular, like, I'm not even sure what you want to call, like, sub-nutrients for working out and stuff like that. It does sound familiar, but I gotta be honest with you, I'm not educated enough on those, because I've all of those, like, little things, like, I don't even know, was it leucine, glutamine, those particular things, and I do not fucking know. I think at the end of the day, the number one thing you can do is get a good program, meet all your macros, which I don't. Like, diet's really important, but people swear by it. If you can meet your carbs, proteins, and fats all exactly lined up, how, you know, just trusting the process, as they say. Make sure you get good sleep. There's really no substitute for training hard, eating well, and sleeping well. I mean, and all those little side things, I don't know. I'd have to know more about the research to talk about that, or even just be familiar at all with it. Hey Melissa, what's up? Well, it's good to see you guys. Do I play Sims? I did when I was younger. I remember I think I had Sims 1 when it first came out. And it was fun. I remember it was relaxing, like building your house when you first, because I think you build your house when you first start, and then once you get like sort of like the structure of it, you can't really like edit it after. You just have to like live out your life as your sim becomes a criminal, or like a burglar burns down your house or some shit. What do you think they're getting ready to disclose about UFOs? I think it's such bullshit, dude. Like, anything the fucking government does in conjunction with the media is just literally prepare. Like, there's always an ulterior motive, because we've all like been relatively conditioned to be prepared for some sort of alien nonsense, you know what I mean? Like, but I think it's frustrating that the government is essentially telling you that, like, they're essentially saying you're lesser than them. You're lesser than us, and we'll let you know about aliens when we're damn well ready to tell you about aliens, or some shit. And I don't even know, you know what I mean? Like my friend was telling me that some forums they're like part of, that they're actually gonna like disclose some shit about there being like a federation of aliens or some shit, you know, external from the Earth. And then but the thing is that, like, there's always like a bigger enemy, right? There's always like a bigger enemy, and then once aliens are disclosed, soon the aliens are going to become the new, like, you know, the new terrorists or some shit like that we have to be scared of or whatever. And I guarantee you, if that, like, this is a hypothetical sci-fi reality I'm describing right now, but I don't know. To me, anytime the government's releasing something, it's always just going to be drip-fed to you in like the most controlled setting ever. Like, you'll never actually know the full reality. Marley with the 5 says, what is your Starbucks order if you drink coffee? I go to Dunkin' Donuts, actually. I don't really go to Starbucks too often, mainly because it's I don't think we even have one in my area of the town as far as drive-thrus goes, but Dunkin's just fine with me. It all tastes like tree bark, and I just get a latte with almond milk, and it's good as fuck. It's like the perfect amount of sweet, and actually almond milk I don't really think has like too much sugar. I'm sure some of them have added sugars, but the God of Pez with the 5 says, hey, listen, I miss the Joel Patrol heavily. Also, at Coco de Monkey has a great gluteus maximus. She bought your preferred energy bars. IQ, we love you. Thank you, guys. I appreciate that. That's cool. Yeah, I got some of those. Some of them, I forget what they're called, but they're in the Rob Ross probably knows, but they're in the freezer. They taste amazing in the freezer, frozen. Bread Moth advises, you are now on the list. Some nice people from the government will come into your door to have a chat with you. Some men in black will make me look into the little light and make me forget everything. I don't know. I mean, there's also like a concept where it's like, I don't know. Like you never know. Like you never know how far ahead some like clandestine project is in regards to like technology. So if you see like a little pill come out of the fucking ocean and like, you know, suddenly go at Mach speed while a drone is like keeping track of it, it could be a government vehicle that's 100, 200 years in the future, you know what I mean? Like, nobody fucking knows what's going on. It doesn't have to be snailians. And who knows, maybe there's aliens inside, under the ocean, down in the fucking depths of Hades somewhere. I have no fucking clue, dude. Reality is so strange at this point that anything you tell me, I'll fucking believe it. I still believe there's a fucking purple Sasquatch out there in my backyard. I'm looking for him. I don't see him yet. He's been leaving poop everywhere, little pellets. People tell me it's the rabbits. I know it ain't the rabbits. What's my Zodak sign? Is that like a Kodak camera? Or is that something like Kodak cameras? You watch your stories for years. Thank you for always being the reason I can follow. You're welcome, Jester. It's good to have you. Vanilla latte is good Starbucks order. Simple and tasty. Yeah, there's something about Starbucks that, you know, I'll drink it, but like something about it compared to other coffees, it almost seems like they like, I'm sure some of you guys have worked there, but I feel like they burn it. Like they burn the coffee on purpose or something to give it some sort of unique flavor. Poop Squarius. Yeah, I'm a Poop Squarius. Why he purple though? I don't know. Probably maybe he was owned by someone who was much larger than he was, and he was kind of like one of those like toy breeds of dogs who just get their fur colored by people because no one has respect for them and wants them to look like a Pokemon, and they hate the Sasquatchian people. Sons of guns. Duncan used to have something called a coffee culata, which was basically a coffee Slurpee. It was amazing in the summertime. That sounds pretty good. Francisco, nice. Happy to hear that. Over roasted, yeah. How do you donate, Brain? Yeah, there's, I think bottom right where you like type your chat, I think there's like a money sign that you can click to go through that, but no worries. I'm just good to see you guys. Have I watched that Geostorm movie? I have not, no. On your way to Starbucks? Never mind, I'll go back. Yeah, you never know what's gonna happen there. They're gonna charge you $10 for some tree sludge. Purple people eater. One more minute, guys, and we'll kick this off. It tastes burnt. It tastes burnt. You got a horror story about Starbucks? Once I went there 3 years, I didn't know what to do because I usually go, but me being awkward, held up the line until I ordered a water bottle. That's funny. 7-Eleven has the best coffee. Interesting. We don't have 7-Elevens around here, unfortunately. I see them down like further south though, from time to time. I feel like they're more of like a city, like you'll find them in cities more often. Starbucks actually does burn the coffee, so there is a fragrant smell when you walk in. Oh, okay, that would make some sense. Maybe I've just associated that smell with the taste as well. Because I honestly am not much of a coffee snob. I'm just like, just fucking keeping me warm and give me the jitters if you don't mind. Appreciate it. Actually, coffee doesn't give me the jitters as much as like a Bang energy drink. But then I tried a Monster energy drink the other day, and instead of feeling anxiety, I felt much more focused, as strange as that sounds. I don't know if you guys have different experiences depending on the energy drink or what. Still haven't found a good gas station coffee. You'll get there. You'll get there when your palate is as refined as us. Hope you realize you're easily the best channel in this lane. Thank you, Jay. We trying out here. We grinding. keep you warm and give you jitters by being a ghost. When you obviously hate coffee so much. Shake my hand. I know, I'm a coffee hater. Monster coffee. I'm gonna switch over to the reading screen, guys. Thanks again for being here. Click like, share, follow me on social media if you'd be so inclined. Twitter and Instagram are linked down below in the description, etc., etc. We're gonna be recording some of this sweet ass shit. It's gonna be sick. It'd be funny if I just end the stream now. Just a 20-minute chat. See ya. Marco with the 5 says, what do you prefer, black or white coffee, bitter or sweet coffee? Honestly, like, sometimes I'll drink it black with nothing in it, but lately I've got this, like, one really good that's like a keto creamer, and it's basically just like powdered fat. But I dump that in my coffee. It makes it taste really good. You can also do, like, if you guys ever had monk fruit, it's basically like stevia, but apparently it doesn't have any effect on your insulin. You know what I mean? So you can put monk fruit in there, and it's, even just a little bit is very, very sweet tasting. It's very powder sugary in a lot of ways. 20-minute stream. Aileen, what up? What up?
Hey, listen.
Wait, I didn't miss one. No. Sorry, daddy. Elaine with the 2 says, have you played Morrowind? I tried to back on the Xbox day when I was younger, but I think I missed that train. But I saw they were making like a remake, and I'm very interested to try that, just for the storyline, to kind of, I really do love when I was younger. I would get immersed in like some really cool I like getting immersed in just RPG stuff. I loved I know they just remade Mass Effect. I loved Mass Effect. I loved Skyrim. I loved Fable 2, Fable 1. And yes. Oat milk is amazing. Yeah, I think they have that at Dunkin' sometimes. I get that. It's fucking yummy, mate. Alright, guys. Thanks again for being here. Get comfortable. Get your poppycorn or whatever it is you need to get into the spooky zone. Happy to be here. RPG this dick. Lineage. I never played it. Will I ever do a face reveal? Nah, I don't think so. I don't wanna, Mom. I don't wanna. That's my mom always asking in the chat. When are you gonna do a face reveal, honey? When's the face reveal, sweetheart? Sweetheart, when's the face reveal? When are you gonna show everybody on the internet your face? Okay. September 2008. A woman walks into a New York City branch of the coffee chain Starbucks. Her name... Immediate fuck up. The comps are looking good. What's a comp? I mean sounding. Oh, right. For the podcast. Yeah, sorry. We got that bass in there for you, Javaris. The 1 million milestone, yeah. What should I do? No, think of something else besides a face reveal for the 1 million. We gotta do something else. Maybe we'll all go buy a bunch of Dogecoin. I'm outside your house. Gerald, be careful. If you slip on the ice, I'm not held liable. Redmoth, just curious, since I got you here, what are your thoughts on Cardona? Okay, moving on. We're reading. Her name is Hannah Up, and like all other customers, her presence is recorded on the small number of CCTV cameras that are present in the store. Yet when asked her name so it can be written on the side of her cup, Hannah doesn't give her real name, but not out of any kind of duplicitousness. Joel coin, yes. Let's start the Joel coin. How much do you think Joel coin's worth? For 1 million, you should do OnlyFans. You guys will get to hear some more content from me. This is a bit of an announcement, but I'll do a more formal one, and you probably get to see like a 30-second ad for it almost like every 2 weeks, even though it's not really like an ad, but it's just a shout out, I guess. But I'm going to be joining Chilling? Yeah. The Chilling app? Chilling. Yeah, let me see that. Yeah. It's called the Chilling app, and it's on Google Play and the App Store, and kind of join their team to basically record a bunch of like unique content that will be specifically only on the app. Probably at least a total of 2 additional hours of content every month, so like 30 minutes every week. And yeah, it's gonna be sweet. It's gonna be cool, and I hope it grows, and it sounds like they're growing and stuff like that, so I'm pretty stoked to kind of get on board with that. So if you guys can't get enough of the voice, or you run out of content and stuff like that, do a collab with CZS World. I would like to. CZS World's a great guy. He really is a great guy. He's very knowledgeable about the YouTube platform, always answers my questions that I have, and just puts out some really, really good content. Always was pretty stoked to kind of do a community post about his new video. Have I ever been recognized? I have not, no. Just when playing Overwatch, surprisingly, which is kind of funny. Why did you say chilling like that? Because that's how you say it. Yeah, it might be a lot of extra work, but I think it's gonna be worth it because the app is. I'm hoping that it's kind of like gonna grow. Carrie, I'm not sure what you're asking why about. Sometimes I think there's like a delay with your messages, so I can never tell if it was like pertaining to something else. But yeah, sometimes if like I'm not like on stream, you guys are curious about streams, like I try to keep things updated, but I got a lot of stuff going on in IRL with family, doing stuff with friends, IRL stuff, you know what I mean? Just different various responsibilities, and now kind of taking on other ones as well, just to continue to like grow things. So I think it's going to be a really good opportunity, and hopefully you guys will be interested to check that out, because God knows I'll be bugging you about it during stories. I'll try not to bug you too much, but Taylor, did you miss a story? You did not, no. Let's go. Choking on a napkin? What the hell? You shouldn't eat those. But not out of any kind of duplicitousness. You see, Hannah doesn't realize who she is. In fact, the young woman seemed to have forgotten herself entirely. Hannah grew up in Oregon, the daughter of 2 Methodist ministers. As a result of their parents' profession, Hannah spent a great deal of her youth in a handful of predominantly Japanese-American churches in her native state, where her parents both served as pastors. The family shared a deep connection with the Japanese migrant community, to the point where Hannah's mother, Barbara, spoke fluent Japanese after spending a few years teaching in Kyoto. Hannah had a mostly healthy and happy relationship with her parents, but obviously, both were rigid in their religious beliefs. This made it difficult for Hannah to communicate the fact that, as she grew older, she found herself more attracted to some of the other girls at school, rather than her male counterparts. This quite possibly motivated her to relocate to the much more liberal New York City after her graduation from the Pennsylvania Seven Sisters College in 2007. It was there that she funded the pursuit of her master's degree by working as a teacher, all the while volunteering for a charity that provided assistance to those suffering from HIV and AIDS. She was highly intelligent, outgoing, and by all accounts had a great sense of humor, so she was spoken highly of by all that had the good fortune to know her. At age 23, Hannah transferred to a middle school in Harlem named the Thurgood Marshall Academy. She was reportedly very excited at the posting and felt it gave her a chance to make a real difference among some of the city's most vulnerable youth. On the first day of classes in September of 2008, Hannah didn't show up to work, and it quickly became obvious that she had vanished. The disappearance of a beloved middle school teacher quickly became a high-profile case among local and national media outlets. Hannah's face was on every almost... Oops. Sorry. Sorry, I fucked up there. The sentence was just kind of weird. The disappearance of a beloved middle school teacher quickly became a high-profile case among local and national. Hannah's face was on. Okay, yeah. Let me let this cat out. He's crazy. It's like as soon as he hears me streaming, he's like, I want attention. You want to see a collab with Mr. Nightmare? Honestly, I feel like a collab might be possible with Mr. Nightmare, but I was thinking, so like with my podcast, I work with like Audio Boom, which has been great. Love that. But I saw that Mr. Nightmare did a collaboration with a new podcast from, Rainn Wilson, aka Dwight Schrute from The Office. He has a new podcast out, and they did a bit of a promotion with that. And I was thinking, and that podcast is with Audio Boom, I believe, unless it's just being promoted through it. And yeah, I don't know. I was thinking like, if they've coordinated that effort, maybe I could communicate exactly how to promote myself via Mr. Nightmare. But at the same time, I don't want to force anything. Hello? Should I start an ASMR coughing channel? I mean, you could try. It'd be interesting. Dude, what the fuck? There's like all this, sudden and abrupt spam in the chat. I can't even keep up with it. That's alright, we got him. We got him, boys. Terry Carnation. Oh yeah, is that what it's called? What happens now? What do you mean, Carrie? Sorry, Carrie. I'm having trouble keeping up with the questions. I don't understand the context. Okay, anyways. No more live stream. No, I'm going to be live streaming. I'm just saying, like... No, I'm going to be live streaming. Basically, I want everyone to know that, like, my number one goal for the channel is Monday, Wednesday, Friday, new videos, right? It's just like, depending on my schedule, sometimes live streams just aren't in the cards, you know what I mean? So it ends up sort of just being difficult. You told your supervisor I got this job opportunity. A CNA coworker overheard, and a lot of my coworkers know I'm now leaving. I've been there for 4 years, and it's kind of weird now. Whatever. I mean, you got other opportunities. I don't think it should be weird. I don't know why they'd be weird about it unless they're like jealous of you or some shit. Or just like, I don't know, maybe they feel hurt. Like, why don't you want to keep wiping butts with us? Why? Derek with the 137. Thanks, Derek. Alright. Hannah's face was on almost every local news channel, all of which asked the public for any and all information related to her disappearance. These efforts were reinforced by scores of Hannah's friends and former classmates who canvassed New York City with thousands of leaflets and flyers in the hopes that it might generate some clues. From what law enforcement could gather, Hannah left her downtown apartment on a jog that she never returned from. Yet 10 days later, Hannah's Apple ID was used at an NYC Apple store. Police had employees pull up the relevant CCTV footage, feeling a great deal of relief that the tape showed Hannah to be alive and well. However, the employees had something rather disturbing to report. Although the woman in the footage was quite obviously Hannah Up, when approached by an old high school friend, Hannah apparently denied being herself altogether. Hey, Hannah, it's me. Are you alright? Everyone's looking for you." But instead of offering an explanation for her disappearance, Hannah apparently responded with, "Excuse me, my name isn't Hannah." The Apple Store employee later said that Hannah's response seemed frustrated, like it wasn't the first time that day where someone had approached her in such a way. The interaction. Do I like fish? Like watching them swim and stuff like that? I think they're cool. I'm jealous. I wish I could hold my breath as long as they do. First approached in such a way, the interaction seemed to have irritated Hannah in such a way that she... Okay. The Apple Store layers. Wasn't the first time. Okay. Who's Candace? I don't know. Can you multi-stream on Twitch? If you get to a certain level on Twitch, like if you become a partner on Twitch or whatever, which isn't that hard to do apparently, you can only exclusively stream on their service, which I think is stupid. But I'm joining with someone? No, I'm just like joining the app chilling to produce exclusive content on their platform. I just see it as an opportunity that's going to be cool, and I don't know, there's going to be a lot of like narrators on there, a lot of like names that you guys will probably recognize, and I imagine it's going to grow quite a bit. And you're going to basically get to see a bunch of exclusive content that you might not otherwise hear on YouTube, you know. Jasmine with the 5 says, "Hey Joel, glad you're back. What's the craziest coffee drink you've ever had? And how old are you, by the way?" I'm 30, Jasmine, and I love the red velvet drink at Dunkin' Donuts. There's like this red velvet cake bullshit. I don't know, me and my roommate like always laughed because like whenever the guy was like listing the flavors, he was, I don't know why he said it like this, but they're like, "Oh, nice, what's the red velvet like?" And he's just like, "It's basically like cake icing in your mouth." He just like said it like that through the intercom. We're like, "Okay, cool." I'll have that right in my mouth. Does the chilling app cost anything? I don't think so. I think there might be things and that's the thing, is I feel bad. This is a little bit early saying it, but I'll be able to fill you in on whenever. Basically, at some point, I'll be doing like a video, you know, a normal video, but in the beginning, there will be, a bunch of information on like it, but you know, when that time comes. Red velvet, if you please. Collab with Mortis Media. I actually do have some collabs in the past, I think, with Mortis. Okay, $2.99 a month. Thank you. Yeah, so I guess that, you know, that's not too bad for pretty much all the exclusive content that's going to be on there. I think it's going to be pretty swell. And I really like the blue moon. What color should you dye your hair? Maybe like... Carrie, I don't know why your heart is broken. Why is this like a sad thing hearing about this? Like everything is going to be maintained here on the channel the same. It's just that I'm doing more, I guess. I'm just working harder, I suppose you could say. Anyways, I gotta read some stories, huh? The interaction seemed to have irritated Hannah so much that she walked away from the man and out of the store entirely. It was then that she made her way to the aforementioned branch of Starbucks, and then onto a nearby gym, where it's assumed that she worked out and showered. Investigators were hot on Hannah's trail, but couldn't quite seem to catch up with her. Despite the bizarre, forgetful episode, she seemed to be taking care of herself and wasn't acting in a self-destructive manner, which is why it was so confusing for investigators when members of the New York Harbor Police pulled her out of the Hudson in a severely dehydrated state, with absolutely no memory of the previous few weeks. She once again knew who she was, but offered no explanation for the events of the previous few weeks, nor her disappearance. After a few days' worth of recovery in a New York hospital, doctors declared that the most likely explanation for Hannah's bizarre episode was what was known as dissociative fugue. I have to remember if that's called fugue or what. Do I enjoy coffee or fruit smoothies more? I mean, coffee is good, but they're like two different things. But I probably, if I had to choose one or the other, I would have a fruit smoothie because that sounds really fucking good. More Joel with more features, such as poke his belly button to make him laugh. Ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha. Don't spam ants. Don't spamps. Yeah, let's see. Dissociative, I think it's fugue. Diss track. Associative, fugue. How do you say it, though? How do you say it, Google? Google. Fugue is pronounced correct? Okay. Do. Alright, one second. Let me just make sure I got this right. Fugue. Okay. Dissociative fugue. I just fugued in my pants. Okay, sorry about that. Alright. Dissociative fugue. After a few days' worth of recovery in a New York hospital, doctors declared that the most likely explanation for Hannah's bizarre episode was what was known as a dissociative fugue. In a dissociative fugue, people lose some or all memories of their past, and they usually disappear from their usual environments, leaving their family and job. The word fugue comes from the Latin words for Big Cheese with the two says, could you collab with Nightmare Files? I guess so. I could try. I feel like I've reached out to a lot of like people, but like once you reach a certain size, people are just like, okay, Google, play Katy Perry's Big Pimpin'. Yeah, but like once you reach a certain size as a YouTuber, like you're just like, I don't know, less inclined, I guess, to answer like collaboration requests sometimes. But I'll have to reach out to them to see what's poppin'. Dude, it's fucking hot. It's fucking hot, baby. After a few days' worth of recovery in the hospital, doctors declared that most likely, okay, blah, 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 blah. The word fugue comes from the Latin words for flight and flee. The condition is sometimes given the playful nickname of Jason Bourne syndrome, in reference to the movies about a CIA agent suffering from a dissociative fugue who remembers nothing but his extensive training. Many of those who experience dissociative fugue states do so because... Wait, what? It's my favorite shoe brand. I don't really know, honestly. Whichever one has Velcro straps. Many experience dissociative fugue do so because they have suffered from. Wait. Many of those who experience dissociative fugue states do so. What the fuck? Oh, dissociative fugue experience dissociative. Such a weird fucking sentence. Sorry. Many of those who experience dissociative fugue states do so because they have suffered from a tremendous amount of trauma. But Hannah's mother later insisted that her fugue episodes don't appear to have any clear or obvious triggers, and when asked, Hannah could not recall any traumatizing events she had endured. The family even paid for an intense hypnotherapy session in which a trained hypnotist attempted to unearth any buried trauma or memories that may be affecting Hannah on a subconscious level. Yet after zero progress was made after numerous appointments, the hypnotherapist was Lasagna. Lasagna can be vegan. I don't really understand, like I get, like, people, like, I was thinking, it's funny you mentioned about lasagna being vegan, because I thought about that earlier, and how my one friend is, like, so, like, religiously vegan, and I was thinking, like, why is cheese bad? You know what I mean? Because, like, I understand, like, the meat thing, because you're killing a creature, right? And, like, the idea is, like, you don't kill or keep them in, like, really shitty circumstances. You know what I mean? That's, like, the gist of it. And I kind of understand where people are coming from, even though I'm not vegan. But, like, what's the deal with cheese? Like, you just squeeze it. It's like milk. You know what I mean? You squeeze that shit out and you turn it into cheese. And you could have, like, 3 or 4 goats or, you know, cows on your farm, or chicken milk or whatever, and you know, I assume that they're treated well. So, like, is there something, the fact that it's just like an animal product in general, like, that's bad? Or I don't understand why milking animals, really? No, that can't, they actually think that? Oh, the cheese thing is because they say you're getting milk because you're breeding the cows. So what if you met a cow out in the wild, 3 or 4 cows, and they just, you know, you just happen to squeeze their teat full of milk, and you made cheese with it. Would you eat that lasagna? I feel like that's a pretty good question. You want someone to milk you? Yeah, right. Well, that's what you're going to have to do here soon. It's just like, if you really want cheese, you're going to have to start milking people. And they're going to have to do it voluntarily, I assume. Marcus Montez with the 5 says, Daddy Letchery, please never grow old and die. I want you to live forever. You're my angel. I'll try, dude. I'll try. I don't really plan on it anytime soon, but if I do hypothetically die from some human fallibility, you know, I pray that you guys will continue to argue about cheese in the comment sections.
Hey, listen.
What's my favorite type of stories to do? I like paranormal ones because they're interesting, but I don't really do them as much because it just gets kind of shit on because nobody watches them, or not as many people watch them. Frank with the 7 Canadian diamonds. Thank you, Frank. It's because you're taking milk that isn't meant for you. It's made for the calves, and you're taking their food if you drink it. Are the calves going to hurt me, like, if I steal their mommy's milkies? I mean, she's making a lot of it. I would hate it to go to waste. It sounds like you guys are you're going to waste the milk. You're going to waste mommy's milk. It's utter madness.
Hey, listen.
Well, what if, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, can't you create isn't there a possibility to create ethical cheese? Dude, there's a business idea for you, for the vegans out in the wilderness. Ethical cheese, baby. Who's on the ethical cheese train? Time Bandito with the 5 says, what about head cheese? What about fucking dick cheese, bro? But thank you for the 5. No face reveal. Sorry chaps. The forbidden milk.
Hey,
If
listen.
milk doesn't come from a minion. Listen, I want to try some minion milk. But the only way to make minion milk is you have to crush them. I don't know how ethical that is because they'll be dead, but if you just get a big steamroller and you just crush a bunch of minions and the milk comes out, like, through the floorboards and collects, I feel like you don't want it to go to waste, you know what I mean? We did all that work. You're just gonna miss out on the minion milk? Ethical cheese banana. I like where your head's at. Do a throat reveal. Renee comes from the brain of the guy. What's Renee? I've never had it. Breast milk can cure pink eye, you've heard. Jesus. Do you have to spray it into your eye? Keep that mug in the closet. Yeah, I feel that. And I try to. When you have a face and you don't even reveal it. Think about that. Every day you see one of your coworkers or friends, you're doing a face reveal all the time. Orca milk? Milk from the orca. Now, that's what I'm looking for, is deep sea farmers, deep sea cattle farmers. I'm looking for sperm whale milk from the deep depths of the ocean, mixed with a little bit of black ink from a squid, giant squid. I think we can make it happen. It's a delicacy. Yet after zero progress was made after numerous appointments, the hypnotherapist was baffled, and nothing in the way of trauma could be discovered. People have been known to not only travel across cities or countries, but also across continents, said a professor emeritus of... Emeritus? The fuck is emeritus, bro? You can get squid ink ice cream. Holy shit. Is that in, I assume, Japan? Yopan? Emeritus professor. Anybody here an emeritus professor? You're stealing a calf's sustenance. Is that really the official dogma of veganism? Is you're stealing the calf's sustenance? What if, like, there's extra to go around? What if it goes bad? Or there's not enough, or the calf is like, whew, that's a lot of fucking milk. Just give it to one of those random dudes out there. They look thirsty. They can have it. And then everyone who's like, all the cheese people outside are like, yes, the calf doesn't desire it. Give it to me. You can eat shit, but doesn't mean you have to. That's sound logic there. I definitely feel that. But I'm gonna do it either way, alright? People have been known to not only travel across cities or countries, but also across continents, said Professor Emeritus of Psychiatry at Indiana University. The explanation behind the fugue is that the person is running away from a bad situation, from a bad marriage or a bad financial situation. According to numerous news outlets, one of Hannah's close friends made an attempt to discuss the 2008 fugue with Hannah, but said she often just sat in silence, almost like she was completely unable to talk about it. It felt like the words we have in the English language were not sufficient to describe this. This friend later added, and we can only imagine her frustration at her dear friend being unable to properly articulate what had happened. The following year, Hannah sat down with a reporter in a coffee shop and once again attempted to describe her terrifying ordeal in her own words, and this is what she said. It goes from, like, going to a run to, like, being in the ambulance. For me, that was like 10 minutes past, but in reality, it was more like 3 weeks. The hardest part is the period right after. You feel shame, and you feel embarrassed, or you feel guilt. All things that I've definitely felt. It's weird. How do you feel guilty for something you didn't even know you did? It's not your fault, but it's still somehow you. So it's definitely made me reconsider everything. Who was I before? Who was I then? Is that part of me? Who am I now? My roommates and I have a code word to show that I'm not going to fugue again, Hannah went on to say. My roommate had done this long interview with ABC, and the only thing they ended up printing was that I was a friendly vegetarian who likes to try new dishes. So if I don't get home one night, they'll text me like, friendly vegetarian, and I'll reply with, who likes to try new dishes, so we know we're on the same page. In early 2010, Hannah left her life in New York behind, moving to Philadelphia for a few months while she worked at a Quaker study retreat. Quaker study retreat? Do a collab with an alien when they come in July. Yeah, I don't even give a shit about these stupid aliens already. What are they even going to look like? What are these aliens going to... Does anybody know what type of aliens they're going to be? They're going to be lizards? Are they going to be the Nords? Remember the Nord aliens that are like fucking tall as fuck and they have gold hair? Are they going to be little grays? I sound like corpse, thanks. Are they going to be the grays? Well, that's what I'm saying about you guys keep arguing industrial farming, but what if you just have a nice little farm at your house and you just make a little cheese? Just a little bit of cheese on the side. A little bit of goat cheese, a little bit of mommy's milky cheese, and you get some for the calves. They're going to look like me. What if I'm an alien? When the alien becomes your daddy, you'll be... You know what? When those aliens come, guys, I'm going to clap their fucking cheeks. We better all clap their cheeks. If we don't all clap those alien cheeks... I mean, we were ready to save them from Area 51, clap some alien mommy cheeks, but I'm saying, right now, whatever they introduce to us here in July, we'll be fucking ready to make some weird shit that we post online about it. Are you allowed to cuss? I don't fucking care. It might YouTube automatically like blocks people who say naughty words, so it won't show up to other people. I'm gonna bust them cheeks wide the fuck open. Those aliens won't even know what hit them. They won't even want to mess with Earth. Earth, comma, USA. What about Lonus? What's Lonus? Drew, you did? What'd you do to that alien? Can you put rain in the background? Guess what, CeeLo? It's funny you say that. Because Monday are going to be scary stories told in the motherfucking rain, baby. It's going to be rainstorm stories. You read my mind. You probably have telepathic powers. No one's ever told you that before, but I'm telling you right now. You see the future. And you saw Monday's future, which is going to be rainstorm stories, which are pretty sick. And I've got custom background audio that's going to include rainstorm sounds, but also some deep sleep binaural beats resonating through your skull. You're going to be out like a fucking light. It's going to be your new favorite video. I can guarantee you that. Also, my new burp background noise coming soon. Marco with the 10 says 1 million sub goal. Joel releases his brand of cheese/milk called ethical cheese. What if the aliens look like us and they're only attracted to the similar looking people? Well, if they look like us, then they'll want to just bang all of us, I guess. Clap all of our cheeks. That guy with the 5. Thank you, that guy. Make it rain. Make it rain, girl, make it rain. Make it rain, girl, make it rain. Apparently, yeah, aliens have telepathic powers, so be ready for that when they, like, look at you and you're like, what the fuck? They're talking in my fucking head, dude. They're in my fucking head. They're in my head, Morty. They're in my head. Make it rain, bitch, make it rain. Is tossing alien salad vegan? We'll have to leave it up to the initiated ones in the chat. In early 2010, Hannah left her life in New York behind, moving to Philadelphia for a few months while she worked at a Quaker study retreat named Pendle Hill. It was here that she met a young man by the name of Patrick Roezel? Tom Riddle be like, make it rain, bitch, make it rain. Wait. Dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun. How the hell do you say this name? Roezel. Probably just Roezel. You actually are an alien, can confirm the rumors. Good, thank you. Joel, do you have a neck beard? No, I've got a fucking beard neck. It's different. Argentina, nice. Hope things are going there. Any podcast tips? Well, I was popular on, well, I had success basically on YouTube first before I started the podcast. So definitely get it out to as many platforms as you can just to promote it, you know. And I always thought about, like, you know, I wonder how much it would cost to spend money to actually do some serious promotions and stuff like that. But Mother Russia in my cup and my glass is fogging up. Oh yeah, hey dog, hey, what's up? Oh yeah, hey dog, hey, what's up? You can't send super chat, no worries, Archon. Sometimes it do be. There's also another link down below that's unrelated to super chat. It's Streamlabs donations. So if like that bypasses that process if you're interested, but you don't have to. So I look like a caveman. It's just one big dreadlock going down to the fucking ground that sometimes I'll catch, like just little people climbing up it trying to take down my weak spots, my eyeballs. I can sing you to sleep. Patrick Roezel is the name of this gentleman. It was here that she met a young man by the name of Patrick Roezel, and the pair dated for a while before Hannah shared the story of her fugue episode with him. Being the good-natured soul that he was, Patrick didn't seem to be bothered by the revelation and considered it a freak accident. The way I see it, Patrick later said, Hannah gives so much to other people that at a certain point there is literally nothing left, and she departs from herself. Hannah spent a few years in Philly before again moving on, this time to Maryland in September of 2013. But it's here that she experienced yet another bout of dissociative fugue that lasted 2 days. She suddenly came to when she found herself sitting in a creek with a shopping cart beside her. But despite the confusing and terrifying experience, she noticed a kind of trend that linked her fugue episodes together. 1, they tended to happen at the start of the school year. 2, her pattern of behavior tended to focus around wandering whichever city she was living in. And 3, she always came out of her fugue when in contact with a body of water. With these in mind, Hannah quickly decided to move somewhere with plenty of water where she couldn't roam too far or into anything too dangerous. So in 2014, Hannah got herself a job as a teaching assistant in the U.S. Virgin Islands, moving to the island of St. Thomas where she embraced a new life and new friends. By all accounts, Hannah loved her new life on the island and found working with preschoolers to be extremely rewarding. Then, days after a Category 5 hurricane, and days before yet another one, Hurricane Irma and Maria, friends noticed something was off. She seemed super out of it. They described her as being almost in a trance. On yet another beautiful September day, 32-year-old Hannah Emily Upp disappeared again. On September 14, 2017, she told her roommates she was headed over to the Montessori school to help them prepare for the incoming hurricanes. She got in her car and was never seen again. Despite desperate searches for local homeless shelters, beaches, hospitals, and even the morgue, Hannah was nowhere to be found. But given how she always seemed to turn up or reassociate whenever coming into contact with water, the cops figured it was only a matter of time before she showed up. In an attempt to intercept her before she endangered herself, police searched for Hannah around the island's marina, asking various ship captains and crew members if they'd seen an American girl exhibiting any unusual behavior. None had, but it was at one of these marinas, Sapphire Beach to be specific, that the cops found Hannah's a bad. Oops. Christina with the 5 says, love your channel. Thank you for all your hard work. I'm a longtime fan. Thank you, Christina. Thank you for the 5. Good to see you. And Perla, Moneymaker, has become a mischievous dog and a member of the Buttersock cult. Thank you, Perla. Everybody say hello. Kinda like I get depressive episodes at the beginning of every school year. Yeah, beginning of school can be very, very depressing. It's kind of weird. I don't know. It's kind of weird that we put ourselves through that, you know. I guess, I don't know. It's just weird when you think, like, if you were born on a deserted island, right? You would just be on that deserted island with your family or whatever tribe you're part of, you know? And there might be some degree of education, but most of it would probably be oriented around just survival or various trades or something of that nature, you know? But, like, it's just weird that we kind of live in a society where the first 18 years plus of your life is just kind of spent within a very, you know, rigid system. I mean, not the worst thing ever. It keeps people out of trouble, I suppose, and you learn something along the way, meet some friends, hopefully, blah, blah, blah. But I'm not really sure. Alexandra, thank you. I appreciate that. Marco with another $20 Reno says, what if the aliens are ripped and they only love dating other ripped people? Rip. To Couch Potatoes, please say in Rick Sanchez's voice. Wait, who's Rick Sanchez? I'm not even sure who. Let me find Rick Sanchez's voice and I'll read that. Thank you, Marco. Rick Sanchez. Oh, from Rick and Morty. I don't know why I didn't put that together. Morty. You gotta eat the eyeballs, Morty. Morty. You gotta eat the eyeballs, Morty. I don't know, Rick. Why the eyeballs? I don't know. Why the eyeballs? I can't really do what's his name. I don't know, Rick. All I can do is say one line. Morty, listen. You gotta eat the eyeballs. Buff aliens. But yeah, I don't know. That would be tough. I guess pretty much aliens are a little fat phobic, if you ask me. Morty. Aliens only want to bang sexy people. None had, but it was at one of the marinas. Oops. None had, but it was at one of these marinas, Sapphire Beach to be specific, that the cops found Hannah's abandoned car. Inside were a number. I might be an alien, you never know. Absolutely shredded. Inside were a number of her personal items, such as passport and purse, which contained a few $100 in cash. Nearby was a small beach bar that served burgers and beer locals and tourists alike. It was there that Hannah's sarong, sundress, and sandal. What's a sarong? Are you this entertaining on dates? Not at all, honestly. I don't think I would ever have the guts to say, like, I mean, it just depends on how I'm vibing with somebody. I haven't been on a date in fucking forever. Holy shit. What's a sarong? Sarong. What the fuck's a sarong? Definition. I remember one time I went on this date with this person and, like, they like, we ended up meeting up later, and I remember I felt a lot more comfortable. And I remember they even noticed it. They're like, wow, you're really funny. Like, you seem a lot more comfortable now for some reason. And I don't know what it was. I think it was mainly because I just stopped caring, you know? Stopped caring about... Because, you know, being on dates, I'm sure you guys get on... You know, you don't want to, like, embarrass yourself or, like, show them that you're, like, insane right out the gate, you know what I mean? So it's, like, just... Sometimes you kind of, like, hold back until you feel comfortable. But if the person across from you is... Like, for me, if I go on a date with, like, a shy person, I'm probably going to be shy or just, like, more reserved or something like that. I don't know. Like... For me, I sort of like absorb the energy of the individual I'm across from, I suppose. Hence why whenever you guys say funny shit, it gives me energy because it makes me want to say funny shit. And then it just like compounds upon itself and nothing hinders that energy and it just keeps growing. What's it say? Oh, shit. Tanesha Marie Lewis has become a mischievous dog and a member of the Buttersock Haunt. Welcome. Why everybody say hello to Tanesha? What's my ideal type? I don't really know. I like people that like jokes, you know what I mean? Like, I like people that, like, if a girl is comfortable just like giving me shit, you know what I mean? Or like making a joke out the gate. It doesn't mean that that's like a mandatory thing or anything like that, but if you give me an inch, I can then take it further, you know what I mean? And in a you know, social context or whatever, like a friendly social, like it just makes me feel more confident, you know? I'm sure you guys can probably relate in some fashion, but like, I don't know. It's like funny people are more, for me, just easier, I suppose, to kind of like build off of, you know what I mean? This story has mentioned Starbucks once. I know, that was not a lot of Starbucks mentioning. We'll just pretend every time that was one of the key defining factors of her disassociative fugue was drinking her Frappalopadopa drink. Every time I drink at Starbucks, I just disappear for 3 weeks. I don't know what happens. If you make a girl laugh, you're almost there. Almost where? You're almost the moon. You're almost at the end of the date. Once she laughs, she tells you to fuck off. The video won't play for you? Oh. You would bully me? I like bullies. I like to reverse bully. Yeah, humor is very important. I mean, at the end of the day, it's like, I understand some people, like, maybe they don't plan on a relationship, like, going too long or something like that, but, like, I feel like even just if you're on, like, a short-term relationship or whatever, you're just kind of, like, playing the vibe, you know? I feel like, you know, if you can at least vibe with someone on a comedic level, it's just, like, you know, it's just easier. Your eyes are intoxicating. Shelby. Yeah, no, I'm doing good. I don't know. Sometimes I just get distracted with other things in my life that I got going on, and streams kind of take a back seat. But yeah, no disrespect. Tanesha with a 5. Thank you. Boss. Some real boss shit. Ideal type, not a fucking psychopath. True. Those are not fun. Zoomstar43 with a 5 says, your voice is so relaxing you could rob me and I still wouldn't be scared. Give me your fucking money, okay? Hand it over. Yeah. All of it. Okay? Now get on your knees.
Hey, listen.
Okay, I don't even know where to go. Yeah, you can't take things too soon. On the first date, if they ask you, do you want kids? Bye-bye. Yeah. Oh, fuck, dude. Here's all my money. Sarong. That's right, I was on the sarong part. It was there that Hannah's sarong, sundress, and sandals were found, neatly folded on a bar stool as if she planned to return to collect them after a spot of swimming. It was there that Hannah's sarong, sundress, and sandals were found, neatly folded on a bar stool. It was there that Hannah's fucking fart. I'll be standing up now, just permanently standing up. I will not ever get down. It was there that Hannah's sarong, sundress, and sandals were found, neatly folded on a bar stool as if she planned to return to them to collect them after swimming. Terrified that Hannah has drowned, the Coast Guard sent 3 helicopters to search for her, while Hannah's friends checked the manifests of people evacuated from the island on mercy ships. But again, not a single trace of her was ever located, and the search for her God, farter. But again, I gotta lube my lips. Do I ever adjust the story because it doesn't sound right when you're in it? I do, yeah. Not too much, just to maintain the author's original intentions, but, you know. Sometimes the grammar is a little bit weird, or, like, just sounds strange to me. If I had one wish, what would it be? Maybe to see in slow motion when I wanted to, so I could be really fucking good at video games. Really fucking good at Widowmaker. And CSGO and Call of Duty, man, it'd be so cool. How can you make your voice go? You just sometimes take a deep breath, and then you just let it all out. But again, not a single trace of her was ever located, and the search for her unearthed far more questions than answers. The only logical explanation was that Hannah had gone to take a swim, gotten caught in a strong current, and then drowned. But if Hannah had drowned, her body would likely float to the surface within a few days. An emergency medical technician named Jacob Bradley circled the island in a rescue boat for hours on end in the days that followed, but again, no sign of the missing teacher was ever found. He even paid a visit to the St. Thomas morgue, as well as several others on the surrounding islands. All in all, he inspected 10 different drowning victims, and none were Hannah. The situation progressed to the point that Hannah's mother, Barbara Upp, moved out to St. Thomas to organize and aid in the search for her daughter. Her move came just after a devastating hurricane, and doubtless this hampered the effort to locate Hannah, either living or dead. It has never been an option to give up. Hope is persistent, and many people join me in that hope, Barbara later said. I've heard from many people here that it's very, very rare for people to drown while swimming, and then when they do, the bodies are found relatively quickly. This has been affirmed by local law enforcement who confess to being stumped by the mystery of Hannah's disappearance. But still, they're inclined to go with the most logical explanation, while Hannah's mother is on the record as saying, "I don't think she went out into the water. Everything that goes out comes back this way. She'd have washed up quickly." Hannah seems to be one of the rare missing cases per fart. Fart. Roman with the 2 says, "I got paid today so I can pay the taxes." To the liege, thank you, good sir. Please don't go create another nation where you don't have to pay us taxes. We will come over and we will find you.
Hey,
Just
listen.
kidding. Thank you, Roman. Thank you, and Buttersock. With the 7 Canadian says, sorry, I've been busy and listening through YouTube and Patreon. Hope you're all doing well. Long time. Good to see you, Buttersock. No worries. Good to have you here. Farts are allowed everywhere. Really, in some ways, farts can't really be denied. The fart will always find you. Aw, tell her, thanks, Jessica. Tell her I said hi. Hello. No cake farts. Jesus Christ. Hannah seems to be one of the rare missing person cases, I see. Hannah seems to be one of the rare missing person cases where even the most logical explanation has glaring holes in it. For all intents and purposes, Hannah waded in the Caribbean Sea that day, slipping beneath the waves, never to return. To avoid detection by the Coast Guard and EMTs in their search boats, Hannah's body would have to have been dragged along the seabed for miles on end, and even then, it would have floated back to land eventually, thanks to the rather predictable currents of the Caribbean Sea. It would be folly to ascribe Hannah's disappearance to supernatural means, but it's difficult not to imagine the terrifying eldritch fates that might lead a troubled young woman to disappear once and for all, even after years of fighting to contain her psychological disorder. For years, the public had focused on the question of who took Hannah up. But in reality, a much more pertinent question might well be, what took Hannah up? Ever read a story that freaked me out? Yeah, pretty much all of them, I guess. I just don't really like... The ones that have, like, where kids get hurt or something like that, it just makes me feel fucking terrible. I'm just like, Jesus. It's like if I was a parent, I'd be like, you're not allowed to fucking leave the house. Stay in the basement forever. No, I'm just kidding. But you know what I mean. Like, it makes you want to protect your loved ones. Is it weird to fart while your girlfriend's in the same room? What if you're dating for 4 to 6 months? Would it still be weird? I mean, I feel like eventually in any relationship you got to feel comfortable farting around each other. Otherwise, it's just like, that's one of those things I understand why people would be reluctant to do around someone they had just met, even a friend, you know what I mean? And especially, you know, a loved one or whatever. But you know what I mean? Eventually, you got to get to farting status with somebody. D-Bar with the 5 says, placing my first Spreadshirt order tonight. Thanks, D-Bar. Appreciate that. There's actually new designs on Spreadshirt from Robin Mikalsen, the good old fella who does all the art for the channel, all the thumbnails and stuff. Spreadshirt, yeah. And yeah, so if you guys want to check those out, there's some pretty cool ones, actually. One of them is even like Red Dead Redemption inspired. He's a huge Red Dead fan. And it's fucking cool. Has anybody noticed me with my voice? Just you guys.
Listen.
Just my senpais. Send multiple pieces of the senpai. Joel, are you a certified guap getter? Hell yeah. What is it, the girlfriend would be the one that farts? Would it be weird? I don't think so. I mean, it'd be pretty hypocritical to, like, feel comfortable ripping ass, but then not being accommodating to your girlfriend to let it go. Let it go, let it go, directly out your ass. For those who lived in Redwoods, California, back to 2008, some of you might remember that Philadelphia branch of Starbucks has 2 blockers to leave because they hadn't bought anything. They were accused of racism, and there was all. They no longer ask anyone to leave their stores for as long as. Alright. Certified freak. 7 days a week. 7 days a week. I have a story. Where do I put it? Yeah, you can submit it to reddit.com/r/letsreadofficial. It's linked down below. Or you can email it to letsreadsubmissions@gmail.com. All right. For the past 5 years or so, What? Oh. For the past few years or so, I've lived here in Past few years or so, what the fuck? For the past few years or so, I've lived here in Redwood City, California. Back in 2008, some of you might remember that a Philadelphia branch of Starbucks asked two African Americans to leave because they hadn't bought anything. They were accused of racism, there was a whole bunch of fallout from it, and in the end, Starbucks announced that it would no longer ask anyone to leave their stores as long as they weren't causing a disturbance. From what I heard, this prompted a bunch of trouble with homeless people hanging around Starbucks outlets and generally making a nuisance of themselves, but I can't really speak to that because the only homeless guy that ever showed up in... This story seems a bit controversial, guys. But I can't really speak to that because the only homeless guy that ever showed up in my local Starbucks was Steve. Steve was about as far from the stereotypical idea of a homeless person as you can imagine. I remember seeing him in relatively clean clothes, tapping away on a smartphone that was charging from a nearby power outlet and not giving him a second glance. I walked in, got my coffee, and carried on my way to work. The next morning, Steve is there again, paper in front of him, tapping away on his smartphone. Only this time, as I'm in line waiting to give my order, I see him reaching for a grubby-looking backpack that seemed to contain all of his worldly possessions. It dawned on me that he didn't have a coffee in front of him, and when I thought about it, he didn't have one that day before either. And that's when I realized that Steve was in fact homeless. And it was then that I actually noticed how tired he looked, how the skin of his face was stretched around his eye sockets like he'd skipped one too many meals in his time. Steve was obviously taking advantage of Starbucks' new policy in order to get indoors and charge his phone, and although he was technically taking up the space of a paying customer, none who got an inkling of his living situation ever seemed to complain. That wasn't until one day, when Steve got himself into some kind of a confrontation with a customer. I think maybe one of his bag straps was lying in the way of someone because I only looked up in time after hearing someone apologize. This big guy in a bad suit scoffed. This big guy in a bad suit. What's the submissions email? Oh, yeah, sorry. The submissions email is letsreadsubmissions@gmail.com. I don't know if you guys can access, like, the description of this, like, upload video or kind of thing, but basically down in the description of every video, including, like, the channel's description, you will see pretty much everything you need to know there, like as far as where to submit, social media, upload schedule, all that kind of stuff. So it's a lot of, like, frequently asked questions can be found there should you ever forget something. Do I like cake pops? What's cake pops? Never had them. Is that like urinal cakes? Let it go. Yeah, hopefully, I don't know if you get, like, sometimes I'll have, sorry, I was just responding to the message, but sometimes I'll have, like, guests on and stuff like that. as you guys know, in some of my like Reddit videos, some of the subscriber stories like at the end, just to help promote like smaller channels that I think, deserve to get an eye on them a little bit from other people, and obviously I appreciate them. And I just hope everyone's respectful to like new narrators that come on, or don't give them too much hate, because, or like say you don't like them, don't leave comments that just poop on them, maybe constructive criticism or something like that. But sometimes, like, I've had people on before, and I've had like some people like actually go out of their way. It was really weird. Like, people go out of their way to harass some of the narrators, like in their various like social medias and stuff, and it's like very strange that it would come to that at all. Like, if you just, because it's just you've gotten all the content that I would have given. It's just like one additional story at the end. It's just strange to think that someone would be so irritated by one individual new voice that I don't know, dude. But yeah, hopefully everyone's respectful to, just be nice to new narrators, because mainly it's like when you're new, like you can imagine yourself, you just started a YouTube channel and you wanted to like do reading and stuff, and you're all of a sudden you're going through the comments, because you're like, oh, I'm on this channel that has more subscribers than me, and hopefully everyone likes it, and blah blah blah. And then you see negative stuff, and it just like really kind of gets to you, you know what I mean? Because the negative comments always stick with you more than all the positive comments. It's just kind of how it works. So yeah, you know the deal. Just be nice to each other. Oh, wait a second. Only you irritate me. Thank you. Appreciate that. It is very childish. I don't know. I just want, obviously you guys know that, but just so we can get that out there, like even like the passive aggressive comments or something like that might hurt their chi, you know what I mean? Hurt their inner workings, and just I think people just need a little bit of positive push sometimes, especially when they're first starting out. Is your channeling going away? What are you talking about? Channeling? Ever heard of Joni Mitchell? I have not, no. Oh, is that a singer? Cool. Sorry, I'm so distracted. I'm so bad at, like, that's kind of one sometimes, like, when I'm, like, crunched for time, like, I know with live streams I get so distracted. Okay, lasagna. Alright, Steve was obviously taking advantage of Starbucks Panther, but wait, this was until okay. This was until one day when Steve got himself into some kind of confrontation with a customer. I think maybe one of his bag straps was lying in the way of someone, because I only looked up in time after hearing someone apologize. This big guy in a bad suit scoffed as he sat down close by, shaking his head. "Shouldn't even be here," the big guy said. I thought it was quite an obnoxious comment, but I'm far too much of an introvert to say anything about it. Steve tried to apologize again, but the guy started going off on him, telling him he shouldn't be there if he wasn't a paying customer. And in a display of kindness that'll stay with me for the rest of my life, the guy at the head of the line bought Steve a coffee and a red berry cheese Danish. There, now he has something, so mind your business. It wasn't one of those, and then everyone clapped, moments. It was still incredibly awkward, since no one wanted to get into a shouting match at that time in the morning, especially not me. So after the fat guy was shamed into silence, He just sort of wrapped his double-smoked bacon and walked out, avoiding eye contact as he went. That's when I found out his name was Steve, and every morning after, if Steve was in the Starbucks, I'd always say hi and asked if he wanted a coffee or a red berry cheese. Some mornings he'd accept, some he'd decline, and I came to learn that he used the charger. Is my channel going to stay? Yeah, why would my channel go anywhere? What? I'm confused by these questions, like as if... I'm sorry, I'm just like confused what's prompting that question. You love when guest narrators are on. The other day I was surprised when Lazy Masquerade was on one of your videos. Yeah, like I appreciate whenever like the larger people are like comfortable getting involved, because it's cool. It's a cool thing to have people on and just show that there's like a community out there that supports each other. Some mornings he'd accept, some he'd decline, but I came to learn that he used the charger. Some mornings he'd accept, some he'd decline, and I came to learn that he used the charger and the free Wi-Fi to look for a job. He wasn't a drug addict, he wasn't an alcoholic. He'd just fallen on hard times after a nervous breakdown and was slowly building himself back up and putting his life back together. Learning that is how me and a handful of other Starbucks regulars developed a great deal of affection for Steve after a while, but our regular cheery encounters with him somehow made it easier to forget that he slept under Redwood Junction every night, and I guess assuring ourselves that Steve would be okay meant we could just walk away and not worry about it. Because one Monday morning when I walked into the Starbucks and saw Steve's seat empty, I automatically assumed it was good news. Maybe he found a place to stay. Maybe he'd struck gold in his job search, and I found myself asking the barista if he'd heard. Wait, barista?
Hey, listen.
Is barista, like, do they have baristas and baristos? Or is it just all just straight baristas? Frank, with the 279 Canadian, thank you, Frank. I'll carry, no, it's okay. I get confused by the questions. I get confused. I'm a confused person. I need context. Slapped ham has a kind of irritating one. Slapped ham? No, I like slapped ham. I like ghost stuff. Ghost stuff is fucking cool. So slapped ham is my boy. But everyone, I understand people's opinions about different voices. Sometimes it's you get different varying degrees of what you enjoy. Barista bros, yeah, probably. What's up, Astro? Baristas. Baristai. Yeah, the plural of baristas, baristai. All of your baristai. Dude, I need to do some serious stretching. Can you guys hear me down here? I'm on the ground. I fell on the ground, help, I can't get back up. Oh. Someone stole Steve's seat, those sons of bitches. I feel like we're about to hear something bad about Steve, and I really don't want to hear about that right now. I don't want to hear about it. Yeah, Slapped Ham is really good. He kind of like chills in the sense that he like does, like commentates over like videos of other people and stuff, or like other people's scary experiences, but it's all like paranormal oriented, I do believe. So, have you seen Nuke's Top 5 channel? I have. It's been a long time. I haven't checked in on them in a while. Do any baristas have prostates? We'll have to check them. We'll have to go in there and check. Do some examinations just to make sure. I need a lifeline, yeah. Do I play D&D? I did. I didn't. D&D is one of those things where, like, if I would have played when I was a fucking kid, I probably would have, like, fallen in love with it. Because when I was, like, 6 years old, 5, 6, 7 years old, dude, I was obsessed. Obsessed every day with my friends playing pretend. Like, just playing pretend. Like, we would just pretend to be, to be shit all the fucking time. And it was cool. It was cool cool as shit. It was cool as white dog shit. And on a winter's day, on a blizzard, during a blizzard in Antarctica, cool as white dog shit in a blizzard in Antarctica. Alright, anyways, I was pretty cool back then, so yeah, we played pretend. I remember specifically playing pretend, like, we would just, like, come up with ideas, like, I was, like, 5, 6 years old, and we would pretend to be characters from the movie Gremlins. And I just remember, like, they had, like, one person wanted to be the one gremlin, or the one, like, stupid fucking one you can't put water on. I don't even know what his name, like, Munchlax. I don't fucking know what his name was, but, and then they asked me, like, what I could be, and then they're like, you could be, maybe you could be the mom. And I was like, what? Whose mom? The Gremlins' mom? No, just like the mom of the kid from the movie. She had a knife. You could have a knife. And that was kind of stupid. But, yeah, I just imagine, like, my pretend mind back then would have fucking loved D&D. Would have, like, shit my pants to play D&D. But I didn't, get into D&D until, like, the past couple years when some friends did it. And I just couldn't take it seriously, because, like, I'm kind of a troll. I like to make jokey jokes. And even though it's one of those games that, even though it's one of those games where it's all about creativity, I know some people kind of just, like, they still want, like, the very rigid rules, in this, like, fantasy universe, and they don't really take too kindly to the trolling, So I play by myself. I pretend when I'm in my room. I pretend I'm a warlock priest in my room. I wear a robe, and I go, and that's one of my spells. But sometimes when I do that, I pee a little bit. Maybe he'd found a place to stay, or maybe he'd struck gold in his job search. And I found myself asking the barista if they'd heard anything from Steve over the weekend. To my absolute delight, he told me Steve had an interview at a local car wash. He wasn't sure exactly what day, he just knew that Steve had made the announcement the previous afternoon before departing the store. So, that was the end of seeing Steve on my morning Starbucks runs. I hoped that he might show up again, buying his own coffee, looking healthier and happier, but he didn't, and I guess that was just fine. But at the same time, I'd have been lying if I said I didn't kind of miss him. Like I might have mentioned, I'm a card-carrying introvert, but I do enjoy a sense of community. I still enjoy the comfort of familiar faces, so anyone who makes me comfortable enough to come out of my shell, I appreciate that more than I think I can even describe. So after a few weeks of not seeing Steve at all, I decided to take a walk down to some of the local car washes to see if I could spot Steve. First place I asked hadn't heard of him, neither had the second place. But the third car wash I tried said that they were hoping I was the one who could give them answers. You see, the third place I tried was indeed the same place Steve had an interview scheduled, but it was an interview he hadn't shown up for. I asked if he'd called ahead to cancel or anything, and the car wash boss said no, and that he just ghosted. And that's when I really started to worry. My concern for Steve's well-being grew to the point where I began to entertain the idea of going down to the Redwood Junction to look for him. I hope I don't sound too prejudiced when I say I found it an intimidating prospect. Like, as much as I appreciate that a lot of homeless people are just like Steve, good people who've fallen on hard times, I know that there are some people in the streets who are so broken that they do actually pose a danger to the general public. But as I said, my concern grew and grew until I didn't give good care if the sight of homeless people camp would upset my delicate sensibilities. A man's life was at stake. I needed to act. I wasn't sure I'd be able to live with myself otherwise. That was how I ended up cycling down to the junction one Saturday afternoon, where I began nervously giving descriptions of Steve and asking if people had seen him. People mostly shook their heads at me, looking at me like I'd grown an extra nose or something. I guess having visitors to the camp wasn't exactly a common occurrence. Time and time again, I was met with the same response: a shrug, a shake of the head, complete indifference. At least until I spoke to one much older guy who wore a Vietnam veteran baseball cap and a grimy old fatigue jacket. This guy seemed a little bit more with it than some of the other homeless folks, and although he had the distinct smell of marijuana about him, he was lucid enough to get a straight answer from. After confirming we were talking about the same Steve, this vet told me that he knew him well, but that he hadn't been around the junction in a few days. When I pressed him for where Steve might have gone, the vet shrugged, but told me Steve had left behind a bunch of his belongings. According to him, this could be a good thing just as much as a bad thing. When some homeless folks find a way off the street, either moving back in with family or getting a place in a program somewhere, they leave behind all their stuff. Some just don't need it anymore. A tent and a sleeping bag are useless when you have a room and a bed, but others find that the stuff they had on the street just reminds them of a time they'd rather just forget about. But sometimes, leaving all their stuff behind meant something bad had happened. I could see the worry just etched into the vet's face, and he seemed to be racking his brain for a moment before an idea struck him. He mentioned that Steve used to bring food to a girl who stayed on the other side of the camp, and that maybe she'd know where he was. Up until talking to that girl, my time at the camp had been unexpectedly uplifting. Sure, seeing people living like that was upsetting, but seeing how nice some of them were, how they hadn't let their hardships break them down, seeing them purely as the human beings they are, I have to say, it was quite cathartic. Yet the visit to the girl's tent was the point at which the trip became more terrifying than I ever imagined it could be. As we approached the girl's tent, the vet greeted someone nearby and asked if a person called Mouse was home. They nodded, but added that she wasn't doing too good. I wasn't sure what they meant by that, but on seeing this Mouse girl curled up in a fetal position in her tent, I was almost certain it was drug-related. The vet gently shook the girl awake, and I'm pretty sure she was high from the way she lazily opened her eyes and how out of it she seemed. But then as soon as the guy mentioned Steve's name, the girl shoots wide open, and she gives him this terrified look before saying, I told him not to go. I told him not to, but he didn't listen. Now he's gone." The vet asks her where did she tell Steve not to go? She replies with, "The cemetery," before bursting into tears. The last question we could get her to answer was what happened to the cemetery for Steve. What happened to the cemetery? That was a pretty good run there for a little bit. Cathartic. Is that how you say? Is it different? Is it pronounced different? Cathartic. I believe in ghosts. I think so. I mean, a lot of people have seen some shit. I don't think ghosts are like a shared delusion, you know, or like some indicator of like mental health issues. Like, I really do think like the fact that pretty much all of like humankind has some degree in history of spiritualism or perception of apparitions lends itself, even anecdotally, I suppose, you know, to the legitimacy of potentially something ghostly or ghastly. Yeah, Starbucks stole this guy, dude. They turned him into a fucking frappa. Does it take you a few times to get a story right, or do you just edit as you go along? Yeah, like, I fucked that up there, but I made it pretty far, but basically I'll just start where I kind of, like, the last sentence I messed up on, and then just start from there, and then I'll just edit it together later. It would be really hard to just read, because this is, like, close to 6 pages, it seems like, or 6 scrolls down, and, I don't know if I could ever, like, read. It would be so annoying. What if you made it to the last sentence and you fucked up and had to start over? Into the Starbucks bathroom and never returned. I wonder if you could have just applied at Starbucks. That would have been fine. You could just live there. The last question we could get her to answer was what happened to The last question we could get her to answer was what happened at the cemetery for Steve to be gone. She replied with, "It took him." It. Not he or they. It. Hearing that word used like that caused this sinking feeling in my stomach. Not so much because of what it entailed, but because this girl was so messed up over what happened, and that obviously meant bad news for Steve. Before leaving the camp, I asked the vet what cemetery Mouse could have been talking about. I had my own idea of which one she was referring to. I just wanted to see if he had the same answer, and he did. He'd said he'd bet his last dime that she was talking about the historic Union Cemetery on Woodside Road. And I agreed, because the historic Union Cemetery is right across the street from the hand car wash where Steve was scheduled to have his interview. I took all this information to the police, telling them he was a friend, or I was. My voice is dreamy, thanks. Thanks. Welcome to your nightmare. Just kidding. Who took him? Slenderman? A ghost? A UFO? A UFO? Now, just to clarify, Pentagon, when you say UFOs, are they pronounced UFOs? Serious question. You don't want Joel to leave. What? Carrie, what are you talking about? Where am I going? I never once said I'm leaving. I am right here. Or do you mean leave the stream? Because the stream's probably going to be going on for a while still. It's been about 2 hours, and I ain't even close. I ain't even close to being done. Boop, 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 boop. I'm just one big audiobook. Yes, guys, please hit the like button. Please, please, please hit that like button. UFOs. UFOs or UFOs? UFOs. Anyone else enjoying a cocktail? Mofos. Are these mufos? Mofos? I took all this information to the police, telling them he was a friend. What the fuck? Why is this? This is what it says. Telling them A was a friend. Son of a bitch. I took all this information to the police, telling them I was a friend of Steve's before I had them file a missing persons report. I made sure to record the reference number I was giving, as I'd be able to use it to get in touch with whatever detectives would eventually be assigned to the case, I assumed. I tried all throughout that next week to get the relevant cops on the phone, but it seemed to take forever before the case was properly assigned. In the meantime, I thought I'd take a ride down to the cemetery to see if anything caught my eye. I don't really know what I was planning on doing. It's not like I knew anything about being a detective, but at the same time, I couldn't just sit on my butt and do nothing. So, for those of you that don't know, Redwood City's historic Union Cemetery isn't really a cemetery. It did actually function as one until about 1919 or so, but after that it basically became a kind of memorial. From what I can remember, some Civil War soldiers are buried there along with a few famous pioneers, so it's more for tourists and sightseers than grieving families or funeral processions. While walking up and down the gravel paths and checking out the old graves, it occurred to me that when the girl said, like, Steve is in the cemetery, it might have been her way of telling us that he was dead. There was every chance we just totally misinterpreted that, and I was in that cemetery on a complete fool's errand, wasting my time looking for something I wouldn't find. And if that's the case, what I found and saw next is completely irrelevant, and is naturally to be disregarded. But and a big but here. If it is connected to the Steve disappearance, it raises questions that honestly don't bear thinking about. So as I said, I'm walking down this gravel path, and a handful of people I see are all just checking out the statues, taking pictures and all that other stuff. Only I see this one guy, all on his own, and he's walking with a purpose, with a... I'm joining some crazy Google Play app. I'm too old for that shit. It's on the Apple App Store too. Don't you ever use your phone or a phone or just the App Store? But I mean, like, I'm still going to be doing YouTube the same amount. I'm just doing another thing that's going to give you like 2 whole ass hours of additional content a month. It's just imagine you have a house, right? You got a house, you're living in a house, and then that house now all of a sudden has a fucking, doghouse on the side. And when you go in that doghouse, it's got 2 additional hours of me reading spooky shit. So, as I said, I'm walking down this gravel path, and a handful of people I see are just all checking out the statues, taking pictures, and all that other stuff. Only, I see this one guy, all by his lonesome, and he's walking with purpose, with a plastic bag in his hand. When I say walking with purpose, I mean like he wasn't there just to hang around and check out the memorials. He was walking fast, like he wanted in and out in as short a time as possible. Just the sight of him filled me with curiosity, but it's not like if I rushed after him, he wouldn't freak out. So as much as I tried my best to follow him, he slipped away from my view almost as quickly as he had appeared. Only he'd left something behind, the white plastic bag having just dumped it behind one of the bleach-white tombstones, apparently in the hopes that it would remain hidden from public view. At first, I was just mad. Like, who leaves their trash in a graveyard or whatever? But I went to check out what the bag contained. It just looked like a bunch of organ meat. Like I 100% saw something dark enough to be liver in there, and some of the other pieces looked like chunks of white fat. It smelled real bad too, like he might have been hanging out on it for... Do I open the water faucet when you pee in the bathroom so you don't want them to hear the stream of pee? Like in my own house? Or like in the public thing? Because that'd be really awkward. Like a really busy like airport bathroom, and you just like turn on a faucet and then run into the bathroom. Hey Google, suck this fart. Lauren with the 5 says, thank you for doing the scary New Jersey stories. My state has some crazy stuff. Love you. Thank you, Lauren. Love you too. Yeah, those were fun. The thumbnail really got my rocks hard. It was just a cool ass GTA. Hey Heidi, what's up? You don't want a bag of meat? Free bag of meat, dude. You don't remember, meat prices are going up. Free bag of meat right in your graveyard. Like, I 100% saw something dark enough to be a liver in there. Fuck. Like, I 100% saw something dark enough to be a liver in there, and some of the other pieces looked like chunks of white fat. It smelled real bad too. Like he might have been hanging on to it for a couple of days before he'd left it there. To this day, it's probably one of the weirdest things that ever happened to me. Finding a bag of meat, like... Fuck. Pisses in the mic. Just... Hold on, let me turn on a faucet before I pee on the mic. So I can feel comfortable. You were at work and you wanted to pee, but there were some girls that worked the night shift outside. Outside the bathroom? Oh, is it like one of those... I mean, it would be awkward if it was like... Like, I always hate those bathrooms in like houses where it's like... You're hanging out with like 10 fucking people, I don't know, just some get together or something in a house, and you're all watching a movie, and you're like, hey, can I use your bathroom? Like, sure. It's 2 feet next to me right here. There's no door either, just a curtain. Also, it's a bucket. Also, there's rats. Also, I have a camera in there. Careful. Yeah, this is a good story. Sorry, I'm kind of delaying it here. To this... Randy, nice. I'm glad you downloaded it. That's awesome. Yeah, it'll probably be like, I think maybe a month or two before I'm like officially on there, because I still have to record my content that's going to be like starting out on there, and then they have to edit it and get a jump start or whatever. But there's a lot of already awesome content on the Chilling app that you can check out in the meantime. To this day, it's probably one of the weirdest things to ever happen to me. Finding a bag of meat Motherfucker, dude. Finding a bag of meat like that, just abandoned in the middle of a ceremonial cemetery. And like I said, whether or not it's even remotely connected to Steve's disappearance is anyone's guess. I mean, the detectives treated me like I was crazy when I brought it up with them in the weeks that followed. They'd sent some beat cops out to the cemetery, and they hadn't found a thing. But I also know they seemed totally clueless in their investigation, like they either didn't care about it or just couldn't get a lead anywhere. And that's just how things went. I get in touch every so often, only to be told the investigator hadn't progressed anywhere. It didn't help that it had taken weeks for anyone to Your burps are offending me. You're silly. Have you done Ancestry DNA horror stories? No, that's fucking next, dude. When you find out that you're actually stinky. When you find out that you're actually yourself. Damn, unlucky. It didn't help that it had taken weeks for anyone to report him missing. And the fact that it was me that should have acted earlier gave me this horrendous sense of guilt for the longest time. Steve had no family out here, and I barely knew anything about him. The best I could do was share the few slivers of info I had with the cops, then just hope it came to something. But it came to nothing, and now Steve is just one more name on the missing persons register, a missing persons register that stretches a mile long. The rate at which homeless people go missing around Redwood City is considerably higher than the surrounding areas, and given how difficult it is to conduct any kind of census or research among the homeless, that figure could be even higher than the numbers suggest. The trouble is, people just don't care. Even people who purport to care about social justice are content to focus their attentions on ridiculous niche topics when homeless people are dying and disappearing on the streets of California every single day. I don't know what's going on here, whether or not it's just fentanyl killing people off. Fuck, dude, my voice is starting to go. Fuck butts. I don't know what's going on here, whether or not it's just fentanyl killing people off, some kind of serial killer, or something less explainable. God damn, I just gargled and I still can't fucking do it. I don't know what's going on out here, whether or not it's just fentanyl killing people off, some kind of serial killer, or something less explainable. But something is killing homeless people at a totally disproportionate rate, and all kinds of other weird stuff is going on to boot. I just pray that whatever it is can be identified and stopped before more people like Steve are lost. People who try so hard to tread water, only to end up slipping beneath the waves. pee without farting. Just let it rip, man. I feel like girls put too much pressure on them, like appearing girly or whatever when it comes to farts and shit like that. Like, nobody gives a fuck. Just fucking fart. Especially in the bathroom. Like, fuck what other girls think. Like, the bathroom's made to house and harness the energy of farts. Just literally squirk one out. No one cares. Or no one will care. You know what I mean? Even if they hear you, like, it's funny. Farts are funny. If they don't laugh, they're shitty people. If you hear someone fart and you don't laugh, what's wrong with you? It's a poot for girls. I've heard girls let out some fucking quakes, some like Richter scale shit, bro. Those ain't poots. You fart in an abnormal amount. I mean, it just depends on your diet, you know. Gaseous producing bacteria. Probably because you drink that kombucha. I saw a really fucking funny video. I don't know what the context is or why, but like, it's like some, it just says like, it's like, you know, perspective of a guy walking with his phone, but you can't see him, you just see him, and it says like, I tried to silently fart into someone's window, and he walks up to this sort of like basement window of like some old lady's house, and she's sitting on her fucking couch eating popcorn, and the guy just like tries to, like, in her window, it's nice out, she's like letting the air come in her like screen window of this basement house, and like the guy like starts to let out this like little fart, like, and then it's just like, you know, like you can just like hear it like gets louder, and the woman, like, as she hears it, she like jolts, and all the fucking popcorn goes flying everywhere, and she's like, who is that? Who's there? Who is that? It's just the funniest shit ever. Like, why would you fart in someone's window? And then just like that person's reaction is just the most priceless shit ever. I can do that. Your sister tells me when she goes to the gym, the bathroom is disgusting. Girls poop like horses. Far too much protein powder. Whatever, dude. Like, I don't, like, that's the thing, like, girls, you know, they might not be the exact same size of guys, like, on average, but they still have the same, like, bodily functions as, sorry, there's some ASMR for you guys. They have the same bodily functions as, like, men and shit like that. And it's not like farts are produced at a lower rate or anything of that nature. So just fucking fart, burp. No one gives a shit. Who knows? If you fart and burp in front of a guy, he might be like, there's my fucking wife right there. You might have just made yourself a lifelong divorcee. No, I'm just kidding. Ash Hodge with the 5. Thanks, Ash. Thank you.
Listen.
It's a bong. Yeah, filling up my bong water with a Brita filter water. How does that was water filling in a cup? How does that even sound like a bong? Like, everybody always says shit sounds like a bong. I'm like, you have never even smoking a bong in your life. You don't even know. Marco with the 2 says, next video, 10 horrifyingly true sharding stories. I sound awful on a speaker? I think maybe it's just like the speaker, or oh, like, is it like super bassy or some shit?
Listen.
Like, what kind of speaker? Like a really big, like, Bose party speaker, or what? Smoking a pancake? Take a sip from a bong. Making stories related to Final Destination movies? I don't think so. I don't really know what I would even do. Maybe talk about people's last moments before they 10 true, scary, freaky ass murder deaths. This guy was crushed by glass. Ever smoking a bong? I think the first time I ever smoked marijuana was from a bong, and it was like the most scarring experience ever, because it was just like, coughing so fucking hard, and just like instantaneously high, and like looking at my friend who was next to me on the couch and kind of feeling like me sitting in the middle of the couch was actually like lifting him up, because he just seemed like he was on a slight incline. So I was like, holy fuck, how heavy am I? I'm crushing this couch in half. Jamo speakers. A small round speaker. Why does it sound bad? You didn't tell me why it sounds bad. Alright, anyways, we're moving on. Enough bong talk. Gather around the bong, everybody. You smoked with your mom when you were 12? That seems... That doesn't seem responsible. But, I don't know. It just seems kind of like... I don't know. I don't think it... it doesn't sound legal. It's like letting, I understand it's not the same substance as alcohol, but that's like making a... I don't know. I understand like whenever like a kid is curious, like they always ask their parents, "Can I get a sip of your drink or whatever?" and they let them take a sip. But like to like let your kid get like baked with you is very weird to me. But I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just saying like that doesn't seem good. She was one of the fun moms. Was that, but like, I feel like you wouldn't, I just feel like you wouldn't want to encourage someone that, you know what I mean? Like, cause at least for me, I remember a lot of kids, like once you make it to middle school, if like kids are like into that kind of stuff that early, it can really just affect their motivation. You know what I mean? Like if, like I didn't really get high, like smoke weed till I was in college. So I kind of understood like the process of like trying, staying focused. I know it hits people differently, but like I know but I had a lot of friends that like once they got into it, they just like lost a lot of motivation to like do well in school and stuff. You smoked with your mom too, as long as I was home, and I'm glad she did it that way. I guess like I don't fucking know. I don't even know how to like comment on that. Like it's just, and I know like nowadays there's like actual like age, because at my state it's not like legal or whatever, but like I think you have to be 21 or something to smoke in most states. That just seems like not like a good thing to let a kid do at all, Like, I know middle high school kids, like they're always trying to sneak liquor from their parents' cabinet, but like that's like conventionally known as like don't fucking do that, you know what I mean? Let alone encouraging it. I just don't think that would be a great decision from a parent, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, if you smoked with your parents at like, if you were 21 and you're drinking with your dad and smoking with mom at 21, you know what I mean? Like makes sense, you're an adult now and you're within the legal age, and now it's just casual. But yeah, I don't think that's something you should get, even if you do it yourself, like you should probably hide that side of yourself from your kids, just so that they're not like, I don't know, encouraged to follow that example. Because sometimes drugs, obviously drugs, and it is a drug, you know what I mean, like can really kill people's motivation to do well in school, and not even just that, just any sort of extracurriculars or like various hobbies they have and stuff. And I don't know. For instance, the first and only time I smoked was when I was 8. My cousin and my young aunt smoked behind the house. My cousin gave me a cigarette, but I coughed too much. Yeah, Seems like everybody's had experiences and stuff like that, but yeah, definitely keep it away from the children for sure. Jeez Louise. At around 5:15 a.m. on the morning of July 6, 1997, a Starbucks employee arrived at work to open up the Wisconsin Avenue Northwest branch. Wisconsin Avenue Northwest branch. Karoo, what's up? At around 5:15 a.m. on the morning of July 6, 1997, a Starbucks employee arrived at work to open up the Wisconsin Avenue Northwest branch of the world-famous coffee company, situated just Well, what I'm saying is, like, I understand pot as a plant, but it also alters your mind state. And, sure, if you want to, like, my parents didn't hide, like, their, social drinking habits from me. Like, they would just watch shows and drink and stuff like that. But I'm just saying, like, they're just, like, I certainly don't think that that's something that you should encourage. Hey, Remy, what's up? And definitely not encourage before, like, the legal age, you know what I mean? Because if you create that type of, like, habit within them, not only is it gonna, like, hurt their lungs, potentially hurt their motivation. At least for me, that's what it did to me, and various other things. But it also could get them in, like, very serious legal trouble. You know what I mean? Yeah, heroin is a plant. The poppy seed, right? Poppy seeds. Yeah. Yeah, you just have to. I mean, like, I don't know. I know, like, teenagers most likely are gonna do it at some point. And just, like, obviously as a parent, you can, like, come in and say, hey, just if you're gonna do this, please do this responsibly and stuff. Just so or tell them not to. And it's up to you as the parent. But I just really think it's just strange. I don't know. Everybody has different perspectives, I suppose. Situated just north of Georgetown University in Washington, D.C., there was a lot of work to be done before the morning rush, and the employee in question had yet to imbibe their morning espresso to really kick them into gear. So, by their own admission, they were pretty groggy by the time they headed out back to one of the freezer units, intending to fetch some of the breakfast pastries that would go on sale that morning. But when the overtired staff member cracked open the freezer unit, they saw something that made their heart race. Inside was the frozen, lifeless corpse of 25-year-old night manager Mary Catron. How the hell do you say this? Catron? Forvo. What? Mary Catron Mahoney. Okay, I don't know. Thank you, Brittany. Appreciate that. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out how to pronounce his name. Mary Catron Mahoney. I guess it's, yeah. Inside was the frozen, lifeless corpse of 25-year-old night manager Mary Catron Mahoney, along with the bodies of 18-year-olds Emery Allen Evans and Aaron David Goodrich. Although they weren't always on the same shift pattern, the employees knew his slain coworkers well, and the horror of witnessing their frozen, discolored cadavers was almost too much to bear. They raced out of the Starbucks and flagged down a bus driver who was only just beginning his morning route, and given how they could have just called 911 from the on-site telephone, running to find the comfort of another living person is very telling of this person's distraught state of mind. Within 5 minutes of the initial 911 call, police were on scene and taking stock of the situation. All 3 employees had obviously been herded into the rear freezer units before being shot, execution style. But what initially confused the investigation was that not a single cent was missing from the Starbucks. If the motivation wasn't robbery, then it looked a lot like a brutally well-executed targeted killing. But why on earth would someone ambush and murder 3 coffee shop employees during their routine night shift? What made the murders all the more shocking was the Georgetown. God damn it, what is it? $400 likes, let's go. Lila, hey there. What's poppin'? Hello, operator, give me the number to 911. Where's all the missing people going, y'all? Good question, good question. We still trying to find out. Probably going to Thug Mansion. Yeah, I mean, like, I understand why some people smoke and stuff, and I have no issue against it, and sometimes I'll dabble in it or whatever, but most of the time when people ask me if I want to do it, I just say no, and the reason being is that, like, I just enjoy my sober mind more than I enjoy my under the influence mind. The reason being is that I think my mind tends to lean towards, like, just more anxious thoughts, more negative thoughts, you know what I mean? And so, I don't know. Remy with the one, thank you for the $1 arena. Says, hey Joel, would you fight a skinwalker? Goddamn right, if I see one. Though they better not let me catch them slipping. I'd be on their ass. Can we be alien or Bigfoot food? Honestly, I feel like, yeah, probably. I don't know if the aliens were like lizards, yes, guaranteed. Probably pick you up, bite your head off. Bigfoot, yes, it's obviously. It's 10 feet tall, strong as fuck. It's an ape, you know, a bipedal, like, Great Plains ape. And sometimes they're carnivorous, apes. Or at least they can probably be vicious, you know. Karu Ross with the 10 says, keep that voice of yours fetch and fresh. Thank you, Karu. I'm trying. Trying to stay fetch. Fetch. Yeah, memes. A lot of memes. A lot of memes do really help. Laughter. The greatest medicine in life is laughter. What made the murders all the more shocking was the Georgetown. What made the murders all the more shocking was that Georgetown has been traditionally a low-crime area of Washington, D.C., with local district council member Jack Evans saying to have a triple homicide anywhere in the District of Columbia is an unusual event, but to have a triple homicide in Georgetown is extraordinary, and this has never been a place where crime has been a problem. Over the course of that balmy July morning, scores of blue-uniformed officials made their way to the scene to look for evidence outside the split-level brown brick store. Homicide detectives and forensic technicians alike pored over the scene for hours on end after the bodies were found, working inside and outside the building adorned with the familiar green and black logo. They dusted doors for fingerprints, searched the store, and took statements from local residents in the hopes of piecing together what had happened. But it was only when Mary Mahoney's car was examined that further evidence was found, evidence which indicated that the murders were no random attack. Inside, the car was spotless, save for what looked like signs that Mahoney had recently spent time playing with a pet: a dirty tennis ball, a plastic chew toy, a dog's brush, and a red towel. The only possible indication that something had gone awry was a flat tire on the front passenger's side of the car, evidence that her attacker had made provisions to prevent her from fleeing. Mary was special, her mother later said. She had an enormous heart. She probably would have compassion for the person who killed her. When she moved to Washington several years prior, Mary would jog alone an hour before daybreak, never worrying about being attacked or assaulted. She adored animals, particularly horses, and even took in Marlou, her sister Molly's toothless black and white alley cat. She attended various New York colleges before graduating with honors from Towson State University near Baltimore, and was a loyal and active Democrat, interning for Bill Clinton when he was first elected. Yet, according to her mother, it was her managerial job at Starbucks that really excited Mary. She had been employed by the company for 2 years and enjoyed being the manager. She was often seen sweeping the sidewalk in front of the store and obviously took pride in her store. What she didn't enjoy, though, was disciplining employees, particularly one that Mary had recently dismissed for allegedly stealing several $100s. She struggled with the issue before having to fire him, her mother said, and for a long time, this became homicide detectives' main theory regarding the Starbucks shootings. Yet despite their hard work and determination, they came up short at every turn, eventually turning to the televisual law enforcement institution that is America's most fucking shit. The murder clearance rate has dropped dramatically. You have an almost 60% chance of getting away with murder in America today. That's weird. Wonder why. Is it? I mean, I assume it would be harder to get away with doing crazy shit due to like forensics and stuff. Boop boop doo doo doo. The water ASMR. Have I eaten? I ate earlier. I ate your mom. Just kidding. Shout out to Minion Mommy Milkers. Goddamn right. Sorry, yeah, just taking a shower. I know it'll get picked up on my mic. So I'll just chat with y'all for a wee bit. You worked at Starbucks for like 2 days when you were 19 and someone OD'd in the bathroom. That sucks. That would be really scary. They just stopped filming forensic files. Yeah, they were the only ones that ever solved any crimes. Well, you guys drinking alcohol? You crazy? Decepticons. Superior. Superior. Joel, when? What, Jamal? What'd you say? Did you say something above here that I missed? Let's go. Oh, nice. Yeah, let's go. Let's go, dude. Let's go, dude. Was there an ending to the homeless guy? Was AFK? Guess he was like a bag of meat or something like that. And they never found him, so I don't really know. Kiara Marie, what's up? I'm doing good. Yeah, just waiting for... You guys probably don't hear it, but... Someone's currently using the shower in the home, and it is... will get picked up on my microphone, so I just have to wait for that to... Am I doing a birthday stream? I think so. It'll be June 3rd if I do, and I will make a social media announcement if I'm doing it. And I do believe that I am. Boom. 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 Oi, Papi. Have you played Resident Evil 8? I watch people play it. I didn't play the last one, 7, and I know the story was connected. So I just never got into it. Showers are always good when scalding hot. Yeah. Girls love showers that are made out of hot lava. I took a little break on IE. What's my favorite story to tell? I like the paranormal ones. Do I drink coffee? I do, yeah. I'm a little addicted to caffeine lately. I love coffee. I love energy drinks. I don't know why. It's not good to do that. Not good to have too much, cortisol pumping through your body at all times of the day for no reason. Couple more hours till Friday. Yeah, it's Friday. Friday. Gotta get down Friday. Anyone seen that chick's newer music video? It's kind of fucking scary. Yeah, I saw one thing. I see people talking about taking their own life and stuff like that. I would say don't do that. First off, obviously, because you are loved, and there is someone out there that cares about you, whether you realize it a lot or not. There's a fuck ton of fucking people on earth that'll make you feel better. Honestly, I always thought if I was ever rock bottom like that, ready to take my own life, just fucking just go, you know what I mean? Not just go, just get your shit and just go on an adventure, you know what I mean? Go get a backpack of stuff, go walk across the fucking world, you know what I mean? Just go until you find something that has meaning to you, you know what I mean? Because if you're at rock bottom where you're oh, death is the only option or some shit like that, or blah blah blah, I don't really know. I can't. I'm just saying, this is just an idea, and it's not to downplay anybody's experiences or what they're trapped in or where their mind goes and stuff like that. But if you're gonna make a desperate enough decision to take your own life, you know what? Why don't you take your life in your own hands and just escape that old life and just go, just go on a walk. You might find a completely new one. You know what I mean? You've been drinking G Fuel lately. Yeah, G Fuel. I've tried it. It's just it gives me really, really bad anxiety. Coffee, I don't really feel anxiety from. Maybe a little too much, but some of the energy drink stuff, I can just feel it in me. Fuck, dude, what the fuck? Yeah, Rambo fucking did it. I mean, I don't know.
Listen.
Andrew with the 2. Thank you, Andrew. Reindeer creature with a storm in the background. Oh yeah, it's been a while, huh? Yeah, this was just a newer, updated one. I think this has been around for a year now, for specifically for my birthday. I think Robin made this. I could do the reindeer rain one again. It's been a long time. I wonder if the notifications would show up if I had it, but let me see. Let's see. Is it even? I don't even know if it's. We got. I'm not even sure what it's labeled as in my. I think I may have removed it, but that was cool. Talk a lot of sense for a youngster. La Plaga, welcome. You're stuck here now. You can't go anywhere. Anyways, we'll keep reading. They're done with the shower. Yet despite their hard work and determination, they came up short at every turn, eventually turning to the televisual law enforcement institution that is America's Most Wanted. After picking the case up, America's Most Wanted staged a thorough recreation of the murders and detailed many of the theories that police were toying with. They also advertised the number of an anonymous hotline, pleading with those with any information to come forward, and it seems this appeal struck a nerve with one member of the public, who called in with not only a frightening piece of information, but also a rather courageous proposal. In the hours following the broadcast of the Starbucks shootings, a woman called into America's Most Wanted hotline to inform them that she was dating a man who actually knew the shooter firsthand. This mystery person had confessed, even boasted, of committing the murders, and on more than one occasion. The couple had initially taken the man's word as pure bluster, but after seeing the Starbucks shooting edition of America's Most Wanted, it became apparent that he might just be telling the truth. The woman then left her name and numbers so she could be contacted by DC police, and when they did so, she actually agreed to wear a wire for them, in the hopes that she could catch a confession on tape. It was then that they learned their suspect's name. Lila, you're the only mod here. G Fuel? Yeah, G Fuel is like an energy powder. It's basically like an energy drink like Monster, if you've ever had that, or Red Bull. But it's like specifically marketed towards gamers, you know what I mean? You may have seen it in like every fucking like streamer's thing, like just anywhere, just like subconsciously on everybody's thing, just G Fuel, G Fuel, G Fuel. And I don't know. I'm like, my feelings towards G Fuel is that I've had it, but I just don't think it should be marketed towards like I just don't think it should be marketed towards the people they're marketing towards, you know what I mean? Because too much, like if you're sitting there playing video games, sure your mind is like pretty active, right? Like, oh, fuck, yo, he's won, blah, 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 blah. I'm down, I'm dog water, you know, like, but you're experiencing pretty sedentary, yeah, use code PewDiePie. You're experiencing like a pretty sedentary experience because you're just like sitting, moving your thumbs or hands or whatever, and to like suddenly be inundated with a fuck ton of caffeine under the assumption that you're like, whenever your adrenaline may or may not already be kind of going, I just feel like it's not really good for people's biology, you know what I mean? And I remember a lot of people, but I'm not saying G Fuel has this, but a lot of people growing up, you know, that I knew in high school drank so many energy drinks back whenever like Red Bull was like just starting to kind of get more popular and stuff. And then they would have like heart murmurs and shit because they would just fucking drink so many during the day. And I don't even know, dude. Yeah, legal speed, essentially. It was then that they learned their suspect's name, Carl D. Cooper. Cooper lived in Prince George's County near Baltimore City and just on the outskirts of Washington, D.C. itself. He was the son of a church deacon who lived with his wife and son, but at the time, he lived anything but the wholesome life of a family guy. At the time of the Starbucks shooting, Cooper was being charged with attempted murder in a 1996 shooting of an off-duty police officer in Prince George County. As for his family's complicity in his crimes, it turned out that it was Cooper's wife that perjured. God fucking damn it. As for his family's complicity. Is complicity a word? As for his family's complicity in his crimes, it turned out that it was Cooper's wife that purchased. Motherfucker. As for his family's complicity in his crimes, It turned out that it was Cooper's wife that purchased the 9mm handgun that her husband used to shoot the officer. It was the combination of this and his alleged involvement in the Starbucks shooting that led DC police to wiretap Cooper's home phone. He was arrested after making reference to several local shootings, but insisted that a friend of his named Keith Covington had joined him in the Starbucks robbery, and it was him that executed the 3 victims. However, when caught up with Covington, 5 Monster energy drinks in a row. I'm surprised there's not more regulation around energy drinks. I know you have to be a certain age or whatever now, but yeah, I don't know. I don't really understand half the chemicals and shit that's in energy drinks, like the taurine and the amount of caffeine you can kind of, correlate to like coffee or something like that. But put salt in black coffee? Are you being serious? However, when they caught up with Covington, they discovered he had been recovering from a gunshot wound at the time of the murder, meaning it was highly unlikely that he was even present on the scene, let alone the one to have done the shooting. "If I killed them, I'd say I killed them," he reportedly said. "But that's not me. I'm not saying I'm a saint, but I'm not going to go out and just kill people. You gotta be a dummy or a psycho to do something like that. It's pure evil." When confronted with the evidence of his lies, Cooper admitted to lying about his so-called friend's involvement because he killed 3 people and was afraid to go to jail. In the process of trying to avoid the death penalty, Cooper told the investigators he'd been staking out the Starbucks for about a month, confirming that he acted alone and fired 2 guns, a .38 caliber snub-nosed revolver and a .38. Sam Gonzalez with the 5 says, "Poppy, Joel, I'm glad I could make it to this live. I've been working non-stop." No worries. I'm sorry you're working so much, but it's good to have a job, and it's good to have you here. You've heard of putting butter in coffee or coconut oil? Yeah, it's... Sometimes, I don't know, that's why I use sort of like a butter powder, like a keto bulletproof coffee they call it, or some shit like that, and it just mixes better. Whereas you put sometimes putting butter or oils and stuff, they sort of separate at the top, and it just doesn't really mix super great. A .38 caliber snub-nosed revolver and a .38 caliber pistol. Cooperating heavily due to the ever-looming threat of the death penalty, Cooper confessed to shooting the manager, Mary Mahoney, when she refused to give him keys to the safe, which held over $10,000 in cash. When she said no, Cooper shot a warning shot into the ceiling, which sent a terrified Mahoney running into the employee hall. Cooper pursued, caught her, and wrestled with Mahoney over her keys. But when her resistance looked like it would be too much to overcome, he shot her dead. He then shot the 2 other Starbucks workers at the store, executing one as they survived the attack and attempted to crawl to safety. Cooper later stated that he wanted to put him out of his pain and misery, but it's more than likely that this thinly veiled attempt at showing he had a conscience. Do I like iced coffee or regular? I like hot coffee, but sometimes I'll drink iced. Are you people sleep deprived? I am. You only turn 50 once, true. Unless you make it to 100, then you turn 50 times 2, bro. Oh, man. go to sleep directly after an energy drink, it's messed up, to be honest. I feel like you could, but I mean, what is your sleep schedule? Like, you probably only sleep like 3 or 4 hours, and then your body's like releasing cortisol, which is like your stress hormone in your body, and you probably don't sleep very well after that. I remember my Keurig. I had like a Keurig, and it like, I don't know, on it like says like even makes iced coffee. And then like whenever you look at like where it's like, how does it make iced coffee? And it just says like add ice. Like, oh, of course. Thank you, Keurig. I didn't know. You had the secret plan right there the whole time. Cooper later stated that he wanted to put him out of his pain and misery, but it's more than likely this thinly veiled attempt at showing he had a conscience was nothing but an attempt to dodge the first death penalty charge in over 30 years. During his trial, even when the relatives of the victims wept openly in court, Cooper remained chillingly composed. He also admitted to murdering a 39-year-old security guard named Sandy Griffin during a botched robbery. Cooper had helped Griffin at gunpoint before demanding that the security guard hand over their expensive .40 caliber handgun. But then, fearing Griffin would John Wick him in the... Did they really say John Wick him? What the fuck? That's hilarious, but also I can't have that. I can't like just say John Wick in the middle of like a serious fucking documentary thing. Three victims were found slain. The reason being, the guy was afraid to get John Wicked. I don't know, I feel like hot coffee for me, like penetrates my body faster. You know, you just feel it faster. You worked at a Caribou Coffee once, and we had a lady tell us that the CIA was following her, and her Bible was scribbled all over in Sharpie. Sounds about right. But then, fearing Griffin would fight back... What the fuck's going on? But then, fearing... Why is there a fucking... Oh, he's doing his, like, find his phone app. Jesus Christ. There's like 3 spots the phone could be. It's funny. I said penetrate. No, I didn't. Told her they put tracking devices in her coffee and you're a part of it. Yeah, you'd get killed probably. You have to be careful. But then, fearing Griffin would assault him in the process to defend herself, the serial murderer executed the security guard before quickly fleeing the scene. Cooper admitted to then selling the pistol on the street for $300. Once Cooper was convicted of the Starbucks murders and sentenced to life in prison, Griffin's relatives were no doubt pleased that their loved one's killer had been put away, but they expressed frustration that it had taken 3 more murders, maybe even more, before the killer had been caught. To them, a lack of urgency in the DC police force had cost 3 young people their lives and raised many questions regarding their competence in command. If the accounts of his defense attorney is to be believed, Cooper is nothing more than a criminal career. I feel like it'd be so hard to be part of like DC or like a city homicide thing, because like imagine you're just like inundated with like homicide shit, but like people are just like naturally lazy, right? You know what I mean? Even like homicide detectives, like you're probably lazy just like every other human, and you got this list of like so and so was killed, so and so was killed, so and so was killed, this person was killed, this person's missing, this person's, it's like, what do you, like, and it's your job, but you're lazy, like, how could you even be efficient, and you become so desensitized towards everything, and I don't know, and if you don't get fired, Mother Russia in my cup. To them, a lack of urgency in the DC police force had cost 3 young people their lives and raised many questions regarding their competence and command. If the account of his defense attorney is to be believed, Cooper is nothing more than a career criminal whose shaky temperament and unbridled greed caused him to take the lives of the innocent. But time and time again, Cooper had the opportunity to simply take the money and walk away, yet he chose not to. He chose to kill people he just didn't need to kill, and he did this on more than one occasion. The first time might have been down to a simple rush of blood to the head, and it's a genuine possibility that killing the security guard was not part of Cooper's plans. But there's also a possibility that killing him proved to be something of a thrill that Cooper wanted to replicate in executing the 3 Starbucks workers. There's no doubt that locking up killers like Carl Cooper for the rest of their lives makes the world a safer place. The only worry is that there are many more out there just like him, people who've escaped justice for horrific crimes, or those with that same darkness in them, just waiting to boil over. Is this the most likes on a live? I don't know. I don't know what the most likes ever was. Click the like button if you would be so inclined. Pradeep ASMR. Yeah. What does a cat say? All right. Did you watch the scene of The Boys when... No, I didn't watch The Boys. I'm sorry. I don't really... Never seen it. How many in the chat are serial killers? Yeah, just picking up tips. Carl? Who names their kid Carl? I feel like Carl is like a weird name for a kid because, like, when I hear Carl, I think of like... I don't know, I think of like a middle-aged man, you know what I mean? And like to hear a young kid, or like imagine looking at a newborn baby and like, Carl. Like, it's not a bad name, obviously, if you name your kid Carl. I don't, whatever. Like, I'm not trying to be rude. I'm just saying, like, it's like the same feeling I get whenever like you see those memes where it shows a lizard or a cow and it just has the name Carl under it, you know what I mean? Or something like that. Some like normal name. Carl, Jimmy's mom, Carl, Jimmy's mom, there it is, Jimmy's mom, Carl from Jimmy's mom has got a dump truck ass. Have I watched Invincible? That's like an old movie, right? Is that the one with the guy who like jogs? Jimmy's mom. I used to work at a Starbucks here in Cardiff, and I've got to be honest, it's one of the better jobs I've ever had. The manager was brilliant, the other staff were nice and looked out for each other, so for a minimum-ish wage job, it was about as good as it gets. The only bad shifts to work were the first halves of Monday and Tuesday mornings, as the pre-work rush meant people were often at their absolute worst. I mean, don't get me wrong, People could be complete jerks at other times of the day or week, but the highest concentration of them was Monday and Tuesday mornings, without a shadow of a doubt. But rude customers aren't scary, annoying, and infuriating. Yes, chillingly cruel and calculating, not as much. Wait, what? Why are memes so brain infusing? What do you mean? What do you mean? Have you ever watched Samurai Champloo? I have, yeah. I was talking about it the other day. I used to own, like, the box set for it or whatever back in the day, back in, like, 2011. And, I let somebody borrow it and they never gave it back, but I didn't really expect it back, so it's no big deal. I kind of like, whenever I have, like, movies and stuff, I kind of like to give them away. Because, like, once I watch it, it's, like, logged into my brain and I don't really forget it. It is nice to watch movies again once in a while, but, like, after I kind of experience it, I just, like, I don't really like... I'm not, like, a huge fan of, like, collecting, you know what I mean? So I just kind of, like, give them to somebody else to experience. But, yeah, Samurai Champloo was cool. The one thing I liked about was, like, the samurai fights weren't just, like, you know, you get cut and then it was, like, tss of, like, blood going everywhere, like, fucking, what's the one with Uma Thurman? The Quentin Tarantino movie or whatever. But, like, like, it was more realistic samurai fights and cutting. Like, it just seemed like more authentic, I suppose. But the story of that show kind of just, like, went, like, I figured it would be, like, pretty guided because it was only a short amount of episodes. But eventually there was some, like, filler episode. Yeah, Kill Bill. Sorry, I can't believe I forgot that. But eventually there were a lot, like, some filler episodes or, like, some side plots that were just kind of stupid. But it was a good show. It's from the same people that did Cowboy Bebop, so it's got, like, some cool, like, hip-hop influences and stuff. Yeah, John Wick's pretty good. Shin Godzilla, what's that? Damn, bro, do you even movie? Not really, not as much as I used to. Afro Samurai, yeah, it's good. Wait, yeah, Afro Samurai, that was Samuel L. Jackson's voice, right? That show was fucking cool. There's, like, a newer one similar to Afro Samurai that just came out on Netflix. I want to watch that. Hobo with a shotgun, yeah. That whole, like, there was a lineup of, let's see, Hobo with a shotgun. Let's see, directed, produced, screenplay based on starring, music by, edited by, distributed by Magnet Releasing. Yes, Magnolia Pictures is an American film distributor and subsidiary of Mark Cuban. Todd Wagner's 2929 Entertainment. Interesting. But yeah, Magnet, you remember Magnet? Magnet made some fucking cool, like, or at least produced some cool shit. Magnet Releasing movies. Because there was a bunch of fucking cool ones from them. And it, like, I really had that, like, 80s vibe. Yeah. Hobo with a shotgun and various other random ones. Like, there was one that was like a tire, like a killer, like just a tire from your car, but it was like a killer tire. And it was just like a cool idea, you know? Have I seen Nobody? I don't know. I do love Austin Powers, yeah. Can't go wrong with Austin Powers. But rude customers aren't scary. Annoying and frustrating, yes. Chillingly cruel and calculating, I say. But rude customers aren't scary. Annoying and frustrating, yes. Chillingly cruel and calculating, not as much. Which is why this particular incident has stayed with me for so long, and I always seem to use it as my personal point of reference for how terrible human beings can be to each other. So, It's a Monday morning, and we're just coming to the end of the rush at around 9 a.m. 30 minutes more, and the caffeine fiends will start to thin out, and we can get some coffee and make a smoke break of our own. I heard her before I saw her, like she was only just trying to get a handle on what had been pure harpy screeches just moments before. Some woman on her phone, ranting, wait, that sentence confused me. Anthony with the $15 arena says, "Where'd you buy your voice?" Oh, yes. That, my good friend, was procured in a Japanese vending machine right next to all the used panties. You're gonna have to find the right machine, though. It may have been one of a kind. Death Proof. Yeah, wait, what was Death Proof? Death Proof. Yeah, that one was fucking cool. It was like a double feature, dude. And it was in theaters. It was Death Proof, and another like one was like zombies, and it was, yeah, directed by Quentin motherfucking Tarantino. And yeah, that one was fucking cool. Oh my god, was that the same people who did Machete? Man, they have the evil guy in it is, what's his name? Man, I don't remember people's names. Quaid? Not Quaid. I don't fucking know. He's the one from Big Trouble Little China. Kurt Russell. Yeah. Hobo with a Chainsaw, the sequel. I bet you've never smoked cigs with how good your voice is. I do it from time to time, smoke a cig here and there socially if someone's got one, but I don't really like doing it anymore because it makes me stink. Planet Terror, yeah, Planet Terror was sweet. Oh yeah, I spit on your grave. Yeah, cigs, I don't really like cigs because they make you stink. It gets in your beard, it gets in your fingers, it gets in your clothes, and you just smell like shit. And I don't really like smelling like cigarettes. It's just yucky. I like that initial like buzz I get from a cigarette, you know, here and there when I'm having a beer, but the lingering effects, no thank you, dude. Zombie strippers, yeah. Quaid is off Total Recall, yeah. Quaid. I was thinking like Dennis Quaid, but yeah, that's not right. Joyride, yeah, Joyride was sick. Escape from New York, hell yeah. I always remember as a kid when he was like, I don't even know, like shot through a submarine or something into New York, and like a fucking like great white shark tried to like attack his little submarine, or I don't know, it was really weird, but it was cool. Maybe I'm remembering that wrong. One of those Mandela effects. So, it's on Monday morning, we're just coming to the end of the year. I heard her before I saw her. Like, she was only just trying to get a handle on what had been pure harpy screeches just moments before. Some woman was on her phone, ranting away and not looking where she was going as she tries to find the back of the queue. In doing so, she cuts off this other bloke who politely informs her that she's queue jumping. I don't know if she actually didn't hear him or was just tactically ignoring him, but either way, this bloke has to tap her on the shoulder before saying, "Excuse me, I believe I was ahead of you." The woman just shrugs this off at first, giving the guy a gesture like, "I'm too busy to listen to you." I remember the look of anger on the guy's face as she gently but firmly grabs the strap of her handbag and tugs her out of... Oh, he does that. Fuck. Would you guys listen to Grindr stories? I've had people requesting Grindr stories, if you guys are familiar with Grindr as like a dating app. And had people send in stories, but it's been more of a request lately, it seems like. I don't know if that's something you guys would be... Shartmageddon. M. Night Shyam is fantabulous. Grinders, you down with Grinder stories? Nice. Okay, cool. Yeah. I remember the look of anger on the guy's face as she gently but firmly grabs the strap of her handbag and tugs her out of the queue before taking her place. I'm a bit torn about that whole thing, like, yeah, it was righteous, but laying on hand... God damn it. I'm a bit torn about the whole thing. Like, yeah, it was righteous, but laying hands on someone... I feel like there could have been a better way to resolve the issue, but it wasn't like the guy had picked her up and thrown her, and due to the size difference, that was definitely a possibility. Anyway, she reacts like this had been the case, like him actually standing up to her was some horrific incident of assault, and starts demanding someone call the police, even though she herself was on the phone and simply refused to hang up. A couple of staff members and customers managed to calm the situation down, and we get the guy his coffee before one of my colleagues serves the angry woman. I didn't serve her, but when she got her order, she turns to be like, excuse me, this coffee isn't as hot as I asked for. No, I know better than to just argue with customers, and especially absolute whoppers like her, so I do as I'm asked and heat the coffee up a little bit more for her. I hand it back, she dips a finger in it and once again tells me, this coffee isn't hot enough. Now, bearing in mind, she just watched me run some steam through it, but again, I do as I'm asked, and give her back some literally steaming hot coffee that she proceeds to absolutely overload with sugar. No wonder she was in such a stinking mood. Her entire life was probably one big sugar crash, hence why she was such an unbearable person to be around. But little did I realize, that coffee wasn't for her, and on her way out of the store, she took the lid off. Yeah, campy, cheesy B horror movies are pretty amazing. The woman is possessed. Possessed by sugar. But little did I realize, that coffee wasn't for her, and on her way out of the store, she took the lid off of her scalding hot syrupy coffee and threw it in the guy's face as he sat reading his newspaper. God, the sound of that guy screaming was absolutely horrific. Like I didn't actually see the woman throw her coffee in the guy's face, so I thought someone had broken a leg or something. That's the only time I've heard someone scream in pain like that. When my old skating buddy absolutely shattered his leg on this visit to a Bristol skate park one year. But what followed in the coffee shop was pure chaos. People were pouring bottles of water onto this guy's face, ambulance staff and police turning up. I think the woman legged it as soon as she threw the coffee because, to my knowledge, no one was arrested, but the guy who had the coffee thrown on him suffered life-changing injuries. From what another colleague told me, the gross amount of sugar in the coffee meant that some of it actually stuck to his face like a kind of molten hot glue. He'd been left with terrible scarring for the rest of his life, and all because he stood up to some absolute monster in the queue that morning. That's what I find really scary, that some people out there are so unhinged that a seemingly normal interaction with them could end up with you suffering injuries you'll carry with you for the rest of your life. Just one moment of misjudgment, one little enough is enough. Jesus Christ, what the fuck? Killer Clowns from Outer Space is amazing. I've never seen that. I want to. Yeah, what a psycho. Wonder if this was on the news somewhere. Poltergeist. They need to stop with the Amityville remakes. I didn't even know they made that many. Oh, my neck. My back. Just one moment of misjudgment. One little enough is enough moment. And boom. you're going to look at a very different version of yourself in the mirror for the rest of your natural life. That is kind of scary to think, like standing up against a fucking crazy person you think is the right thing to do. Hence why people like mind their own fucking business most of the time, because they're like, I don't want to fucking put a red X on my chest, you know what I mean? Mother Russia in my cup. Alright, guys. Last motherfucking story. You missed the ending, Liz? Well, you'll have to watch the video to find out on the next episode of Let's Read. Joel is 72. I am. Yeah, I'm retired. I'm a retired old fart. Just kidding. I'm not a fart. I'm a piss. Retired old piss. You got punched in the face for laughing at a dude? Man, I don't know. People are nuts. Like, do I stream on Twitch? I do not, no. Like I said, with Twitch, like, if you get partnered on there, you can't stream anywhere else. And since most of my audience is here on YouTube, I would, I'm getting close to 600 people right now, which is very good, or cool and awesome. But Twitch, like, it would take me so long to build up whatever over there. Better be scary, bro. I know, dude. I hope so. I hope you get spooked. You're coming up on your 1945th birthday, ageist I am. I'm sure. An old husk of what we once were. Cosplay stories. That'd be interesting. Aaron Wilson with the Susie. You gotta check out Carousel if you haven't. Oh. Cake farts? Piss kink? You guys are wild. You guys are wilding out. Everybody on the internet is weird. Everybody's weird on the internet. Would your stories trigger TOS on Twitch? I don't really know. You'll have to do some research on there, but I don't think I'm going to stream on Twitch, to be honest with you, because I don't even know, like, what would I even label my live stream as, on Twitch, where people could organically find me. Like, I wouldn't label it as Fortnite or Overwatch or PUBG. I guess I could label it as like art or just chatting. I could do just chatting, but then I could do a hot tub stream where I get into the hot tub and actually read. Oh, that'd be so funny if I made like a hot tub animation, just like making fun of those like e-girls. Let's Read's hot tub stream. Donate and I'll write your name on my bones. Twitch is lame. Well, Twitch is kind of lame. I don't understand why there's so many like titty streamers anymore. It's just like, what the fuck happened to video games? And why and it's kind of embarrassing because like Twitch takes all these like different high grounds when it comes to the terms of services. We're the most noble, good people ever, and you better not say anything rude. But we will make money off you showing your tits to kids on fucking online, Because how many fucking parents right now, right, let their kids watch Twitch because like, they're just watching video games, correct? They're just watching video games. And then they click on a pair of big bazingas. I mean, if I was like a little kid, I'd see a big pair of bazingas and be like, whoza, howza, whoza, fuck Overwatch. I'm looking at the booba, mommy. I'm looking at the booba. I can't wait till I get a job so I can I can't wait to mow a lawn. Get my allowance so I can donate to Amaranth. Come on, come on. Make your own jacuzzi with lots of farts in the tub. Yeah, you think those are bubbles? Not quite. That's from me drinking kombucha. My potty mouth is gold. Fart tub stream, yeah. A secret of mine is that I have always wanted to sass a customer, as you read online. You know, the kind where a person asks to see the manager and the staff member does a flamboyant 180-degree spin and says, "That's me." I got to live that dream. Although that being said, I think it's nearly got me quite badly hurt, too. A few years back, a customer had come into our branch of Starbucks an hour or so earlier and booked a table for his girlfriend and himself and left some table decor he wanted to set the table up with. It seemed a little weird, but nevertheless, I offered to set up roses, LED candles, and cloth napkins for them so they could leave to get ready. I finished setting up the table when in walks Mr. Businessman. The store is basically empty at this point. It's 4:30 in the afternoon, too early for any sort of dinner rush, and so there are lots of tables free. Mr. Businessman walks up and asks to use the table clearly set up for a romantic night. I politely said it's been reserved, but there are many other tables he can take a seat at, but he insists that he have that table. I take 180, 360. He does a fucking... Do you ever want to do a 720 fucking melon split? And be like, I'm the motherfucking manager. Tiffany, be nice to everybody. Yeah, everybody, if you're unaware, a lot of the stream is just me memeing around. All of these stories will be fully edited, I promise. With no mistakes and all that kind of stuff in new videos, as you know. Every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Adjust for wherever you are on planet Earth. And, you know. It'll also be up on Patreon, early access, only $1. Where can you send stories? Reddit.com/r/let's read. Did you ever want to turn around and 360 no scope a customer? I'm sure you have. What if you don't want to be nice, Liz? There's some people that just can't be helped. Sorry. Take some mac and cheese to that dome. Jeez Louise with the mac and cheese. But is that vegan mac and cheese that you squirted out? That could have been... You could have fed that mac and cheese to a baby cow. See, that's the big issue, is that baby cows love mac and cheese. And when they don't get theirs, when you're sitting at home and you're eating your bowl of 5-minute ready instant mac and cheese, just know that there's a fucking baby cow sitting out of your window staring in with bloodthirsty eyes, pissed that you didn't give it what it deserved. Can I say, it's a forever thing. I take him to the table directly next to it and say this table is free, but he doesn't want that seat. He wants the reserved seat. He starts to raise his voice, and at this point I can see he is choosing to be difficult for no other reason but to be difficult. I repeat myself that table is reserved, and that's when he says it. He asks to see the manager. I feel the moment spread through my whole body, starting from my suddenly beaming smile all the way to my fingertips and overworked feet. I feel the power I suddenly possess flow over me. This is it. This is my moment. I look around and down at my name badge and gasp as it says, wait, I look around? I look around, then down at my name badge and gasp as it says, manager under my name. I smile and say, "That's me, sir. I'm the manager." I was being awful and petty, and he's beyond angry at this point and raises his finger, stabbing the air around me, and says, "What's your name? I'll be retorting. Fuck. What's your name? I'll be reporting you to head office." And that was honestly the least of my worries. Like, for a little while, I legitimately thought this guy was going to hurt me. Was it honestly worth? Was it honestly worth it to make this guy so angry, this absolute psycho, to pay for my witty little comment with my health or life? I think I got very lucky because he leaves in an angry huff and says he'll be taking his business elsewhere. He ended up returning Cardi B and mac and cheese for me. The tables have turned. I sound like a Skyrim NPC. "Greetings. How are you, weary traveler?" What does he say? It's like, "I'm on the run from the magistrate," or something like that. "I'm on the run. The temple guard is looking for me." Let's see. Let me just finish the story. I don't understand. Why was this story scary? And that was honestly the least of my worries for, like, stabbing the air around me and says, "What's your name? I'll be reporting you to the head." Stabbing the air around you? What the fuck? I think I got very lucky because he leaves in an angry huff and says he'll be taking his business elsewhere. He ended up returning an hour later and is now a regular at our store. He greets me by my name every time he comes in. What are some, like, NPC dialogue from Oblivion? Or whatever. "Chicken chaser. Oi, it's a chicken chaser." I love that music though. The do 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 do. I think the best is just like all the just the random videos of like people from the UK just talking to each other about just saying weird shit. That because they're, I don't know, there's a lot of weird people everywhere, but just the UK accent really complements like the Oblivion like NPC music. So funny. NPC dialogue, let's see. NPC dialogue is the greatest thing on the internet. What the fuck? I hate Google or just Google is so annoying. You type shit in, it's gotta like take you to fucking like 50 different things that paid to have like their articles at the top. Okay, generic dialogue. "We're all talking about the Emperor's murder. We have no Emperor, and no heir. It's never happened before. I suppose we all should be worried. Have you ever met anyone who got rich betting on the arena? Didn't think so. The arena's faked. You think those guys are getting killed? Really? It's just berry syrup and ham acting. The council runs the arena to amuse the masses, and it pays for itself, with all the fools who lose their shirts gambling. Is there anywhere in Tamriel? Is there anywhere in Tamriel you can avoid rats? Disease-spreading little nuisances. Way shrines of Arche. Way shrines of Arche confer blessings of health on those who've pleased the Nine by righteous acts. The Imperial City is densely urbanized, with a few large parks and waterside dock areas. There's islands in Niben Bay, as no one has visited in 100 years. No telling what you'll find. I understand the Fighters Guild is hiring new members. Not bad work for some folks. They say that when you murder someone, the Dark Brotherhood comes to you in your sleep. It's how they recruit their new members. I might swim more if it weren't for the slaughterfish, sharp teeth, and some carry disease. Best way to take out a skeleton is with a big weapon. Forget spells. Just smack them and watch the bones fly. I don't even know what a will-o-wisp is, much less how to kill one. I think they're just swamp gas myself. This is fucking fun. This is fun. Mountain Dew and vanilla creamer is delicious. Tastes like key lime. Ooh, interesting. NPC poetry. Virtuous visitors to way shrines of Kiranarath may receive blessing. Whatever. That one's stupid. You've seen way shrines in the wilderness? Those who have pleased the Nine may receive blessings of willpower at the way shrines of Mara. When you visit a way shrine of Zenithar, and you've lived a good life by the Nine, you may visit a blessing of luck. You may receive a fuck. If you've done good deeds, the Nine will bless you and cure diseases when you visit their way shrines. That's so funny. He just had Cajun chicken sandwich from Famous Dave's. It was brought to me a bit ago. Fucking fire. Things in the guild have been different since Traven was named Archmage. They're more structured, but everyone seems tense. The Mages Guild has made more than a few enemies since necromancy was banned. I don't know what Archmage Traven has against necromancy, but the first thing he did after taking over the Mages Guild was to ban its practice. It's so funny too, because like NPC dialogue doesn't even have to be good. It's just like, I don't know, like I honestly feel like a lot of the times they just do the voice acting like in one shot. Like, alright, let's just bang this out, whatever you see. The Calavians are proud of their reputation for being independent, rough, and rebellious. In the west, in Old Calavia, that's where men are men. That's the Gold Coast, West Weld, and Calavian Highlands. It's still pretty wild east of Nibin. Few people except for bandits, but at least it hasn't been picked clean by treasure hunters. Alright, dudes, let me read the outro. Someone think of something funny. Didn't we say something about girls and farts for, like, the outro? Oh, shit. Surprisingly, Pradeep hasn't even smashed his body. Yeah, no posting Zoom IDs, please. It's weird. What the fuck is that? What are you posting Zoom shit for? It's goofy. I'm hotter now, my fellas. Notice I've gotten his last beer, but it's 5:34 a.m. Girls don't fart. Wait, no. We were saying like girls do fart or something. And remember, girls fart too. That's it, yeah. Hey friends, thanks for listening. Click that notification bell to be alerted of all future narrations. I release every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you got a story, be sure to submit them to my subreddit, r/Let'sReadOfficial, and maybe even hear your story featured on the next video. And join a live stream on random Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays. And if you want to support me even more, grab early access to all future narrations for just $1 a month on Patreon, and maybe even pick up some Let's Read merch on Spreadshirt. And check out the Let's Read podcast, where you can hear all these stories in long compilation form and save huge on data, located anywhere you listen to podcasts. Links in the bio. Thanks so much, friends. And remember, girls fart too. Only I fart. Only you can prevent female fire farts. Well, we made it, guys. That was a nice little stream back. Am I hot? Probably. Probably. I'm a 10 out of 10 personality. A face made for radio. Just kidding. But yeah, guys, thanks again for being here. You guys kick ass and you're fun to be around, so thank you for that. And thank you for your generosity, all the donations and people joining up. Appreciate that. Yeah, go follow my social media, Twitter, Instagram, all linked down below. I'm going to get this edited and up on Patreon first thing. It's only $1 a month on there, or $10.08 for a whole year. You get early access to every narration. Also, go check out the Chilling app that I will be on here at least by the summer. So that's going to be sick. All that good stuff. I'll keep you posted. You'll see an announcement probably. Have I already said girls fart too? I might have, actually. It's just such a good one that you gotta say it twice. Really, really pound it home, you know? I look like Ben Affleck. Ben Affleck when he's fucking Batman, baby. But yeah. Love you guys. Appreciate ya. Hope you have a good ass motherfucking night or morning or wherever you're at in the world. Hope you stay well. Things seem to be looking up in the world, so I'm excited. I'm excited to exist, and I hope you are too. Love ya. This will be out tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as I always say. Okay? Adios, amigos and amiguettes. Peace out. Love you. Kisses, kisses, and smooches, and all of the douches. I don't know. Anyways, bye.